Done it. Cameroon and Ghana, Senegal tonight, attempting to become the first country to do it twice. The England players take a knee before kick-off, and then the whistle is blown by the referee tonight, who is from El Salvador, Ivan Barton, and it is Senegal in the green kit with the yellow numbers on the back who get this last 16 match of the World Cup underway. And there's a foot in there. Harry Maguire's going to have to be quick. Declan Rice has to be quick back to the edge of the area, but he is, and passes it to Jordan Pickford, who puts it out of play on the far side. So England in the first half, they are in the white kit, the first choice shirts with the blue shoulders, white shorts, white socks, and as I say, Senegal all in green. And it is Senegal in possession in the centre circle, and Diallo plays the ball out towards the left-hand side. Ismaila Sarr has started on the left flank. Good possession in the early stages from Senegal, who won their last two matches to get through to the knockout stages. They lost their opening match against Netherlands, but then beat Qatar, the hosts, and Ecuador to get through. England with it on the left-hand side, and then in comes the challenge to put it out of play from Sabali for a throw to England near the halfway line.
Well, Senegal aren't just sitting back when they have the ball. I mean, they've got four players pushing high up the pitch. You've got Undi, Diatta, Bouladia, all pushing up, with Sarr kind of staying wide on the left-hand side. So whether or not they'll just bypass that midfield area, John, when they get the ball at the back and just try and get the ball forwards and allow their players to either just get hold of it with a direct pass, or whether it's going to make it a bit of a fight that England have to be up for. They're certainly committing players forward in the early stages.
England with the ball in front of their own penalty area. Harry Maguire and John Stones together there again. The feeling would be that at some point it might switch to three central defenders, but not tonight. It's back four again, and of course Senegal very much a back four team. Very rarely does Aliou Cissé stray from that. Ball played forward for England up the left-hand side, but Sabali is able to come across and play the ball back into central defence to Koulibaly. Brilliant noise coming out from those Senegal supporters down there on the pitch side. I mean, there aren't that many of them, maybe 300 or 400, but what a racket they're making. Sabali playing the ball back into central defence. Koulibaly now. A little ball to Mendy in central midfield, but he is dispossessed, and Jordan Henderson is able to take the ball away towards the far side and win a throw-in just beyond the halfway point in the Senegal half. Yeah,
I fully expect Senegal to almost bypass their midfield at times today. Mendy didn't look particularly comfortable receiving that ball with his back to goal, and like I've already mentioned, the front four players are almost straight along the line, so a lot of long passes.
Kane to Henderson on the edge of the area, flicks it out to the left-hand side, but that will be allowed to roll beyond Phil Foden's run and through for a goal kick. Harry Kane in that position again on the edge of the penalty area. He's played there to great effect, but yet to get off the mark with goals at this World Cup.
Yeah, he's pressed well so far in the game. I mean, the midfield's very much looking to be like Declan Rice, just sitting by himself in front of Stones and Maguire, with Bellingham and Henderson pushing on, both of them into those areas higher up the pitch. Almost a kind of a 4-3-3 really, John, isn't it?
That's what it is. 3 minutes played. England 0, Senegal 0, and the ball is back with Jordan Pickford. Clean sheets in his last two matches. England have conceded just the 2 goals. Those late goals against Iran in the opening match. England are still joint top scorers in this World Cup, but they've given the ball away on the halfway line, and it's played to Dia through the middle, and Dia could be in here. A weaving run in between two England defenders, Stones and Maguire, but between them they just about did the job and just got a little foot in. John Stones bounced away, a knee from Maguire, and Pickford was able to collect.
Well, a very, very early warning sign for England about the directness of Senegal. You lose the ball in that midfield area, they've got a target in the front in Bouladia, who's just going to get on his bike and run into those spaces, and he got the wrong side of Harry Maguire there. If it wasn't for John Stones coming across and just covering, he just set Bouladia back and allowed Harry Maguire to get back and get a bit of a knee on the ball and just deflect it out of his path. But for a moment there, I thought he was going to be in for a shot on goal.
Well, that was very direct, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And very positive, actually, from the number 9, Dia.
it's how they're going to play, isn't it? They're going to wait for those opportunities. England for a sloppy pass in midfield, and all of a sudden that first pass is so aggressive, isn't it? It's just trying to get behind England or into the heart of the defence. They're very good at that, Senegal.
And Stones and Maguire gave one another a low five after that, and then the foul in centre field. An early challenge there. That did look a little late. Bellingham playing it back to Maguire, and referee Barton has come across and had a word, actually, and quite a firm word as well.
It's from behind, isn't it? Late and from behind. Doesn't catch Bellingham particularly bad.
It's Cease with the challenge.
Yeah, it was Cease who came in. He's never going to win the ball, but it's just one of those early little tackles, isn't it? You're going to see a few of them in this game, just to welcome to the game. We're not going to stand by and allow you just to control the ball in the middle of the park.
England 0, Senegal 0. 5 Live and BBC Sounds and across Africa on the World Service, as I mentioned. And it is England with the ball on the edge of their own penalty area, just knocking it back to Jordan Pickford, who put his foot on the ball. And then England looked to play it out from the back. Rice back to Walker, and then Walker down for John Stones, his Manchester City teammate. Flicked on by Jordan Henderson. And then it is taken down by Harry Kane, but bounces back for Senegal, who have it inside their own half, and Koulibaly plays it forward, but Phil Foden is onto that, and England have it.
Oh, how quickly is Senegal into the tackle there?
Very quick. They had him surrounded, Phil Foden, and then Jude Bellingham as well, who is fouled again. Free kick to England, forward and left of the centre circle.
Great pressure from Senegal. You can see that when that ball's in that midfield area, the players that have been picked in there, Mendy and Cease, out of possession, they're just going to get straight after England. Anything just dropping in that area, they're latching straight onto the pressure and making life difficult just to get that first pass off.
I would say it's probably 4/5 full now, the stadium. You can still see empty seats, empty red seats all around the place. But those who are here have their eyes on the ball, out towards the left side of the middle of the Senegal half. And Luke Shaw, in fact, it's going to be played square to Walker. And Walker now plays it in, right-footed to the back post, where it's chested down by Rice and volleyed across the penalty area. Maguire was after it, couldn't get his head to it. And it was cleared away on the edge of the 6-yard box. Foden, no to Kane. Kane in the D on the edge of the box, trying to find a position. Very congested in there. And the referee spotted a foul against Diatta on the edge of his own penalty area, and it is a free kick to Senegal.
Straight off the training field, wasn't it? That set piece played square to Kyle Walker. Declan Rice just makes this run around the outside all the way to the back post. Walker floats it out there, Rice chests it down and just kind of volleys it across the goal, almost slices the ball, takes a bit of pace off it, allows Maguire to go and attack it. It was a well-worked free kick, very nearly dropped to an England player.
If you've just switched on, you're just on your way home tonight. England trying to win the ball back with Saka inside the penalty area, and it was just about dealt with by Abdou Diallo, and goalkeeper Mendy was able to come and pick it up. The news tonight for England, just the one change Gareth Southgate made. Marcus Rashford's on the bench tonight. The hope is that he'll be able to come on to good effect if necessary later on in the game. And no Raheem Sterling, not involved at all, dealing with a family matter as Senegal hit a long ball downfield. Jordan Pickford is able to deal with that and catch it at the other end. Gareth Southgate said pre-match to television that Raheem Sterling, Gareth Southgate spent quite a bit of time with him this morning, but has had to pass that on to other people during the course of the day. And he was asked whether he will return, Sterling, and Gareth Southgate said he's going to go away and deal with the matter, and we'll have to take it from there. So that Gareth Southgate on Raheem Sterling's absence tonight. Here's Bellingham, does well actually to ride the challenge, has it on the left-hand side, deep cross, Mendy dives for it, doesn't make any contact at all. It's a real Superman dive, and Bukayo Saka is able to take the ball up again for England on the right-hand side. Back to Rice, and then England have it again in the centre circle. Yeah, Jude Bellingham's going to have a strong night. I think we can see that already, Matt. Yeah,
Superman dive from Mendy, but Superman leap from Jude Bellingham to ride that challenge. He goes to ground and just bounces straight back up. And what a cross, John. It's a shame that Saka just didn't gamble and try and get across the face of the defender in the box. So I'm looking at the replay of Jude Bellingham. I mean, he's straight up on his feet and it's a left foot cross. I mean, it's a beautiful ball right between the goalkeeper. Slight touch from Mendy, but Saka had just held out a little bit and didn't make his run across the left back Jacobs.
England 0, Senegal 0. One ball forward for England, looking for Foden. It's headed away by Sabali. And then the referee spotted an infringement free kick to England just inside their own half. And England look to take this free kick. Luke Shaw out there on the left-hand side. Harry Maguire just wanders forward. What an absolute racket there is inside the ground. I don't know how many drums there are down there in the Senegal section, but even though they are vastly outnumbered by the England fans inside this ground, that's where the noise is coming
I think
from.
because there's not much more noise, is there? So it kind of like really highlights the drums massively.
England 0, Senegal 0. And Harry Maguire gives it to his clubmate Shaw, who sets off on a run down the left-hand side. Foden is there, and then the ball is back and driven across field to the right-hand side, where Saka is able to pull it down on his left foot. Senegal with two players in front of Bukayo Saka, so England go back into the centre circle again. John Stones. It's been a very even start to the game, I must say. Stones then flighting a ball under the chest of Henderson, who's out on the right wing, has a look in field, swings the ball in. Kane let it go. It was slightly behind him. Bellingham now 30 yards out, but running away from the penalty area. Back to Walker, who will use Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire just stretches his legs and gives it to Phil Foden on the left flank. Again, he had to stretch for it also. Maguire, this is a good long period of possession for England, with Senegal just sitting off England at the moment and inviting them to try and find a way through.
I'm just watching Jude Bellingham at the moment, John. I mean, he looks so up for this game, I have to say. His body language, he's bouncing around the midfield. I mean, his hand is going up for the ball constantly. Even if someone's marking him, he wants the ball, and he looks like he's absolutely buzzing out there.
I think this might be the sort of challenge that he fancies, the 19-year-old.
It certainly looks like he fancies it at the moment.
Ball played over the top for Saka now, down the right-hand side, volleys it across. It's gone a long, long way. It's gone all the way to Luke Shaw, out towards the left. Bellingham is there, always available. Bellingham turns away from Sis and then gives it to Foden, and Bellingham gets it back, just about keeps his feet. He's challenged by Koulibaly, and Koulibaly did come out with the ball, but England very nearly finding a way through there. And then Maguire can't keep the ball in, or did he? Yes, he did keep it in, and he found Kane, who crosses right across the front of Saka. Goalkeeper Mendy diving from it. The ball went between the two of them and out for a throw.
Well, England just starting to really apply the pressure, keeping Senegal penned in their own half. Maguire does really well to keep the ball in. He just lifts it up the line. Harry Kane is onside. I think it's Diallo who's playing him on, and it's almost identical kind of cross to what Jude Bellingham put in a moment ago with his left foot. Fires it across the face. It's a super ball, and Bukayo Saka, just a yard off that? Otherwise it's on his head, and any kind of contact is in the back of the net. It's a good counter-attack from England, just winning the ball back on the halfway line and being very direct.
I can see your old teammate down there, Matt, Aliou Cissé.
Yeah.
Your old Birmingham City colleague, who there was a bit of a doubt over him today, so they said, that he'd not been very well. Yes, that's right. Couldn't go to the press conference yesterday, but he's fitting up and he's on the bench tonight in his grey tracksuit. Yeah. And here's Henderson on the right-hand side. There was a late challenge in the middle of that. Ball played forward to Saka inside the box by Henderson, but out through for a goal kick. And Harry Kane is the latest England player just to take a knock in there. It's feisty in centre field in this match.
Yeah, it's a foul as well. I mean, it certainly looked a foul late when the ball had gone. The referee hasn't brought it back.
Poor challenge.
It was a poor challenge. It's a foul, and Harry Kane rightly on the floor, looking around, thinking, why is he not blown for a foul there? We should have a free kick.
Yeah, let's get a view from Rob Green behind the goal. I'm sure you'll have a view on it, Rob.
Yeah, brilliantly, so well, so quick, and they hounded him so quickly, and it was just wonderful feet from Harry Kane. You realise how quickly you got to think, how quickly you got to move in there, and did brilliantly. But they certainly have really aimed for him when he gets the ball, and also Harry Maguire. When he gets it, he's pressed from one side of the pitch. They don't allow him out. John Stones, Carl Walker, George Pickford, all pleading with him, come out the other side, and he can't. And it's the frustration in there, just a little bit creeping in at the start.
Yeah, this is going to be a challenge tonight from 0-0, but England with a throw-in down the left-hand side. Kane is okay after that ball across, after that challenge across the top of his foot, and remember he has had a foot problem, Harry Kane. And here he is stabbing the ball into the box, but that is beyond the little dart into the area of Luke Shaw. Goalkeeper Edouard Mendy of Chelsea is able to come out with Gala.
Yeah, just the first couple of times Kane's had the ball, it's just the spatial awareness hasn't been quite as razor sharp as what you normally see. It's got caught under his feet, he's a little bit unaware on one of them. Just wondering whether or not he's just got into this game, into the rhythm of this game yet.
England 0, Senegal 0. Stones heading it forward from inside his own half. Henderson. And, you know, with the game, the way that the game has gone over the course of the first 15 minutes, you can already see exactly why Gareth Southgate has chosen this Henderson-Rice-Bellingham midfield.
Yeah, because it's going to be a combative area of the pitch. It always is. But in this game in particular, you can see that Senegal, when they win the ball, they're going to be very, very direct, and you're going to need your midfield players to take responsibility, track runners especially, because if Stones and Maguire get dragged out of position, you need that midfield player to fill in, because the energy that Senegal have on those kind of attacks, they'll just throw bodies forward.
Free kick to England out on the left side, near the halfway line. Luke Shaw just taps it back into his own half to Maguire, now across to Stones. And England work it to the right-hand side. Senegal just allowing Walker now to hit that square ball to Maguire. Here's Declan Rice on the halfway line, just looking for Dia, who's arriving. And now Shaw in field to Kane near the edge of the box. Strong challenge from Koulibaly to win it. The two captains together. Chelsea against Tottenham. And now up the right-hand side it goes to Ndiaye. But England, Harry Maguire's able to put in a challenge there. John Stones plays it off Ndiaye and out of play for a goal kick to England.
Well, I thought Harry Maguire just about got away with that one. He had a good yard or two, and also he had his body across Diatta there, or Ndiaye it was, who was just around the outside of him, and I think he should have dealt with that a little bit better. That's going to give confidence to Ndiaye to think, even if Maguire's got 2 yards on him, he's going to feel like he can get around him and beat him for pace. And I think England just have to be a little bit aware of that. Maybe Luke Shaw stay tucked in, John Stones just edge over the pitch a little bit. They're going to try and isolate him out wide at times.
Yeah, England just winning the ball back inside their own half, and Rice playing it back to Pickford. So that is the number 13 element, and Ndiaye that we're talking about, the Sheffield United man who has played for the England Colleges team when he was at Barnet and Southgate College, which was also a team that Nick Pope played for, who's on the bench for England tonight. And Ndiaye just closing down John Stones, and Stones plays it out to Maguire on the left-hand side. Yep, certainly when they're getting the opportunity, Dia and Ndiaye are both trying to make life as difficult as possible for Maguire and Stones. Walker just knocking the ball back to Pickford on the edge of the box.
How was the drive here tonight, John? Okay.
Smooth as can be, man.
Yeah, no problems?
No problems at all. No,
excellent.
Very good tonight. Nothing to report. A rare journey at this World Cup where there was nothing to report.
I'm sure I would have heard about it by now if there was.
Yes. Maguire giving it to Stones to his right. Kyle Walker on the right-hand side. Kieran Trippier on the bench again for this one. Walker, and back to Maguire. And Maguire will carry the ball forward and cross the halfway line, but just angle it to his left. And then it's passed forward by Bellingham. And Phil Foden back to Jude Bellingham again.
There's a lovely touch from Foden just before that incident with Maguire, where he's flicked it round the corner. I mean, it was such a deft touch. I don't know if he nutmegged the Senegalese defender, but it was a beautiful touch inside and very nearly set England off. It just Harry Kane couldn't quite get hold of the pass from Shaw, which was at a really difficult height, but you can see that there's real capabilities of that kind of link up on that left-hand side.
Bellingham just conceding a throw on the far side, so it's out of play for the throw into Senegal. England 0, Senegal 0. It is the first time that England have played African opponents in a knockout match at a World Cup since the famous 3-2 win against Cameroon at Italia 90. And I must say, I was looking back at that match today, and I cannot help feel, just because of the green kit against England, there are definitely memories being stirred by watching this match tonight. And that was an incredibly topsy-turvy game that England eventually won by 3-2 in the quarter-finals, thanks to a couple of Gary Lineker penalties one of which was in extra time to win it. Ball played forward, and that's taken a deflection. And England are saying that that should be a corner. And
I think it's been
the
awarded.
referee, the assistant is on it and has given the corner to England. Now that is a very cheap corner.
Yeah, well, there's a touch, there's a clear touch from Ismail Assar, but I think I'm not sure if his teammate actually knew it came off of him, and they just kind of allowed the ball to trickle out for a set piece. Now, this is interesting for England because I think we've been pretty good at these so far in this tournament, so let's see what the delivery's like with the left-footed in-swinger.
Yes, and not only that, Senegal conceded from a corner in their last match against Ecuador. So it is a free kick so it is a corner from the right-hand side. Gareth Southgate said to us yesterday he feels that England have simply not been effective enough from set pieces. Foden plays it in, and it's headed up and over the top by John Stones arriving. But he was able to get in there, clear header, but arriving at pace, he couldn't keep it down, and it flew over the top of the bar.
Yeah, he looked straight away to Declan Rice, who I think was making a run away, and he's just taking his eye off the ball there, John Stones. It kind of hits him in the shoulder. Whether or not his teammate is just in his line of vision and he just misjudges the ball, but it was actually perfect, the delivery from Foden with his left foot, and then the run from Stones. I think if Declan Rice hadn't been across the face of him, could well have just got a header on target.
England 0, Senegal 0. Yes, off the John Stones shoulder. So goal kick. Senegal playing it out from the back. Ball flicked on down the left-hand side by Jacobs, the left back. Now it bounces forward. Pickford's come out of his penalty area into the full-back position and actually headed away. Stones was there, but the goalkeeper came, and it's out for a throw that Jacobs is going to take. Ismail Jacobs, who is German-born, played for the German under-21 team, but at senior level has opted for Senegal. England with Rice winning it back inside his own penalty area, bounces forward off the head of Dia, and now volleyed away downfield by Kyle Walker, with Senegal players either side of him. Koulibaly was able to pass that forward, but Harry Maguire has given it away, and England are on the back foot here as the cross comes over, and it bounces into the 6-yard box. Dia was in there with the initial touch, and then Ndiaye in the 6-yard box blazed it over the top, and I think Dia is suggesting he might have been fouled. That's what he's saying to the referee.
Yeah, I think he's looking at the foul as the ball comes in, whether or not John Stones just knees him in the back. It's Ismail Assar who gets all the way across to the 6-yard box, and it's an opportunity born out of, well, I think he's appealing for a handball possibly. It just flicks off John Stones' hip and hits him in his left arm. I mean, it's such a close connection. That's
happened just a few yards away from where Rob Green is standing behind the goal.
Yeah, and it's the reaction to Jordan Pickford trying to get a block in. He does really, really well because he realises he's not going to get there first and decides to make himself as big as possible and stand. Now, as a goalkeeper, there's very little you can do other than that. He doesn't decide to play the ball. They've restarted, so there was clearly nothing to be had in it. But it's good goalkeeping, because if he had gone and made the lunge and gone with his hands, I think that would have been a case for a penalty.
However, that was a big opportunity for Ismail Assar in the 6-yard box and blazed it over the top. But they did look, VAR had a look, it said on our screen, but it was just a quick look, and the ball deflected off his body onto his arm that was
next to each other,
next
to each other. So I mean, there's no reaction time. It's just one of those things. But
another warning.
It's twice now that England have been caught out more when we're in possession at the back, and we're a little bit stretched because we want to have the ball, we want to make the pitch big. But if our passing's not quite right, which in 2 occasions we've given the ball away, we're in trouble, John, because the speed in which Senegal get the ball forwards and the directness of their attacking players is going to cause us problems.
England 0, Senegal 0. Stones and Maguire just finding one another with passes and then using Pickford again behind him. But certainly when Ismail Assar stole in there, the Watford man, in the 6-yard area, he went for power and absolutely blazed it. Pickford diving down at his feet. But a clear chance for Senegal, not taken. Maguire now turns and steps forward. And that gives it away. Misplaced pass from Maguire. He's out of position now, but Declan Rice dropped back in.
Straight away, John. They're not looking to get a pass off Senegal. They don't want to pop the ball sideways and backwards or keep possession and try and control the game. They're winning the ball and going bang. We're going to put it straight behind. We're going to put it in to our front player, Boulaye Diar, get him running the other side of John Stones and Maguire and put them under pressure. They clearly see that as a game plan of how they're going to beat England today.
So England in possession with John Stones, who just gives it out to the left-hand side to Maguire. But I think we've seen, 25 minutes now, Matt. I think it's clear that this could be a tight tussle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes, there's far too much time on the ball. Maguire's just stopped the ball there for probably 3 seconds. He's not moved. I think keep it ticking quickly and then allow the picture to change, but also get in behind a little bit, clip a couple over the top, stretch the Senegalese back four, do to them what they're trying to do to us, and just get their defenders turned and running back towards their own goal, and it just makes the pitch a bit bigger to play on.
Yeah, there's been promising moments for England when they've been coming forward, but a couple of dicey moments at the back. Rice. So it is England now on the front foot and attacking, moving into Senegal territory. Bellingham back to Rice again. It's going to go square. It does. John Stones puts his foot on the ball, turns back to his left and gives it to Rice. Foden comes into a more central area. Luke Shaw is pushed forward. Saka's through the middle now. Foden gives it back to Saka, and Saka's appeared on the left-hand side, tried to lift it, sort of scoop it into the penalty area, but didn't beat the defender. And then Rice is challenged by Ndiaye, and it's out of play for a throw-in to England.
It's quite a difficult customer, isn't he, Ndiaye? He looks to be a little bit everywhere, and he doesn't give any ball up. I have to say, even when Maguire or Rice has looked favourite there, he's always going to try and win the ball and makes life difficult for the opposition player.
As Jordan Pickford has to stretch to deal with the ball on the edge of his own box and gives it out to Harry Maguire. So Maguire and England again with this patient start. A sense that there will be frustration from all of those seats filled with England supporters behind the goal. That when England have come forward and have looked positive and they've had that zip about it, but it's almost like, again, the two sides of the match the two sides of England's game almost don't link together.
I'm interested to hear Greeny's opinion on how we're moving the ball at the back there, Rob. Is it a little bit slow for you?
Yeah, it looks a little bit measured at times, I think, because of the mistakes that have been made, and there's a slight lack of movement in the forward areas. Players are getting themselves isolated, standing still, and from there it's very difficult to go forward as a defender, as you well know. Also, just the two contrasts. At one end of the pitch, you've got thousands of England fans really watching, invested, intensive, and not really getting involved. At the other end, there's not as many fans, but just one big party going on at the other. It's brilliant to watch.
It's extraordinary. It's almost out of our eye line down to our right. We sort of have to crane around the top tier and past the camera, but they are all swaying together. And it's one of the scenes of this World Cup, all of those Senegal fans. England playing the ball from the left-hand side. Shaw and Foden together. Foden is forced away, and then Bellingham gives the touch back to the halfway line. Yeah, well coached, this Senegal team. We can see this already. It's been in charge for a long time, Aliou Cissé. 7.5 years in the job now. Jordan Henderson coming back into his own half. Absolute legend of Senegal football. There's a long pass from the back by John Stones. It's headed infield by Walker, but it drifted out of play before Walker got to it, and it's a throw into Senegal inside their own half. So this is the second World Cup that Aliou Cissé has taken Senegal to as a coach, but he was also the captain of that famous team that I watched in Korea back in 2002, and in the very first match of the tournament, their first match at a World Cup, they beat the defending champions France by 1-0. It was one of the most remarkable turn-ups I think I've ever seen live in a sporting stadium.
I mean, he looks like he manages how he played, John, to be honest. I mean, training, I just remember him being very uncompromising. Once he got on the grass, it was business, and the look in the eyes was very, very serious. And I think I'm watching him pacing around that technical area. He has not stood still, and the messages, the intensity is constantly being delivered to his players.
Just a little delay there because Mendy and Saka had a little set too. That's a Premier League challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Arsenal and Leicester together, and then Senegal win a free kick just inside the England half. So a chance for a set piece that Diallo is going to take. Diallo now at RB Leipzig, so playing alongside Guardiola, who we were so impressed with the other night when we were watching Croatia against Belgium.
He's a player, isn't he?
Isn't he just?
Yeah.
Diallo then slips it forward. Mendy now, little Mendy of Leicester. Right-footed pass, way out to the right-hand side. Sabelli is able to get that ball down. Good movement from Senegal. And then centrally, and Dai. And Senegal now keeping possession well. And actually, Koulibaly takes up possession, centre field. Mendy now out towards the right-hand side. And England having to defend here. Mendy gives a little ball back towards the right-hand side to Crépin Diatta. And now, again, Senegal just forced to give it back towards the halfway line. And Mendy exchanging passes once again, and it comes all the way back to Diallo inside his own half. And with Jordan Henderson
good pressure,
putting pressure on him, he has to turn and give it back to the goalkeeper, and Henderson goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. Maguire now, after the long clearance from Mendy. Shaw is tight on Ndiaye on the far side, and Ndiaye is able to get away with the ball though. This is good from Senegal.
It is. It's a shame we couldn't pick up that second ball once Maguire won the initial header. Great pressure from Jordan Henderson that forced a long kick, and you feel like if we turn the ball over there and win it, all of a sudden we're in business.
Saka has given it away, and Sarr now into the area. He's on his right foot. He's been forced away from the box, but he slipped it into the box, and Dia with a shot from the left-hand side is well saved by Pickford. Threw out a left arm, the shot from the angle. There was a defender there as well. Pickford makes the save.
Brilliant save, Jordan Pickford really was. Very sharp with his left hand. I mean, super strong arm. Mistake from Saka. The ball gets manoeuvred back wide, and there's just a little half a yard of space. And it's a really sharp save with his left arm.
And again, Rob Green, that was very close to where you're standing.
Yeah, there was a clear handball in the build-up, so I don't think it would have stood, but Jordan Pickford standing, and I think the temptation is that to go down early. You know the strike's come in. What he did, he stood and waited, and he got full extension into the dive and managed to get such a strong hand because of that full extension, triple extension in there, and beat the ball away. So every effort of energy that Jordan Pickford could muster was into that save.
England 0, Senegal 0. And Senegal have had a good 5-10 minutes.
They have, and England haven't been able to move the ball quick enough and really create any spaces. And I understand that Senegal are very well set, but we have to switch it up. Maguire just now going long with his right foot. Even if it is go long and then pick up a second ball and we're higher up the pitch, and then England can play. But we've got to speed up the way we're moving the ball across the back four.
Harry Kane drops deep, then overruns it. However, Bellingham challenges for it, lands at the feet of Kane. Kane across to Saka in the box, but there is cover there. The left back Jacobs coming across, shoulder to shoulder with Saka, and got enough of a touch to send it back to goalkeeper Mendy.
Sorry, John, I think we just had a little bit of a shoulder to shoulder there. I just had a little twitch up there. Just thought I was Saka arriving in the box, trying to get across my defender, but little moment. Harry Kane just saw the run, decent ball over the top, but Saka couldn't get across the left back Jacobs. And physically they look good, Senegal, don't they? I think England are going to have to really work the ball well to win that physical tussle.
It does feel almost like chalk and cheese, the two sides of England's play.
Yeah, very much so. And at the moment, Senegal, probably in the last 5-10 minutes, have had the better share of the action and territory.
Still goalless, with just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. Gareth Southgate with Rashford on the bench tonight. A clear indication from him that he intends to bring on Rashford. But Senegal have posed problems, and they've had the better chances, the better opportunities to score the first goal of this last 16 tie. The winners will play France with Kylian Mbappe showing again today what he's capable of with those 2 goals that make him the 5-goal leading scorer at this World Cup. And you know, they made their intentions very clear, Matt, with what they did in that victory over Poland today.
Yeah, they have a certain swagger, don't they, the French, about the confidence, about how they play. Almost, you know, at times to think we don't need to worry too much about the defensive side of the game. We're just so good at this. and that's what they do. And you know, looking at this England performance in the first half, we want to see that kind of arrogance a bit more, especially with the ball.
Misplaced pass from Stones. Henderson couldn't get to it. Now Senegal come again with Ismail Assar on the left-hand side. Jacobs is there as well. Past Walker. In comes the cross, but that's headed away by Stones. Jacobs again. Saka puts in the challenge on him. Bounces out of play off the England man to throw in near the corner flag. England tentative at the back. Little mistakes.
Not very sure of our passing at the moment, are we? Not building up at all, not really firing passes in and breaking lines, and or even hitting long balls with any conviction and quality.
Harry Kane just gets away from Diallo and then tries to curl a long pass. It bounces, actually deflected to Saka. And now Kane has a look over his shoulder and is able to find the pass to Shaw. Foden's available. He's not seen enough of the ball, Phil Foden, yet in this match. Does well, gets to his feet. Two Senegal players with him. Shaw now in towards Bellingham near the edge of the area, just arrives on the scene, just glides into position. Jude Bellingham. Rice just caps it back to Maguire near the halfway line. Just feels like first goal in this match is so important. I think you said that, Matt, before the match. Long pass forward is headed away by Jacobs, and so Senegal back in possession. Walker is up against Ismail Assar, and Ismail Assar is away from him, and Walker was using his arms there to pull back the Watford man, and that's a free kick. England have yet to receive a yellow card at this World Cup, but the referee from El Salvador is just going to give Kyle Walker a warning.
Well, I mean, it is a foul. I suppose you could look at and say there isn't that much contact, but Walker does get done around the touchline, and Sarr just too slippery for him, the way he just kind of wormed around the outside of him. Walker always trying to get back, and Aliou Cisse gesturing to the referee, and I think because the challenge from behind, John, he's got every right to question why that isn't a yellow card.
Yeah, that's quite significant. You know, there's already been a lot of talk, hasn't there, about Kyle Walker against Kylian Mbappe in the next game, but he's got his hands full here with Ismail Assar of Watford. Still 0-0, but not Watford. Senegal with this free kick on the left flank. So England holding a line outside the penalty area. Might be swung in with the right foot from Crépin Diatta of Monaco, or alternatively it is the left foot delivery to the edge of the box, which is headed away by Walker, but it comes out for Senegal. And Dye on the right flank onto his left foot, and Dye has Declan Rice there with him, so wasn't able to get into a position to have a shot at goal, and Senegal go back to the halfway line. Ball's been carried forward. Sabali makes a run down the right, and Dye is there as well, but Dye's pass was overhit through into the penalty area, and it's all the way through for a goal kick, and it remains 0-0, and this is Matt Upson.
Well, there's a little bit of a kind of look amongst the England players at the moment of kind of what's going on. I don't think this is going to plan in terms of how England envisage controlling this game and creating opportunities. They're a little bit uncertain with their passing, and I'm just looking at John Stones playing it out to Harry Maguire. He has a touch, he plays it to Shaw. Now we've gone forward and there's a little flick from Foden. This is now starting to happen.
Kane giving it back to Bellingham. Bellingham might find some space. He pulls it back. Henderson left foot. England take the lead. It's Jordan Henderson, the Liverpool captain, with the breakthrough for England. And that is a massive relief for England and Gareth Southgate and all of these supporters in this stadium in white and red. Senegal have really tested England, but Henderson strikes and it's England 1, Senegal 0.
Well, it's probably one of the more unlikely goal scorers, but because of his role tonight in the midfield, he's been getting forward and arriving in the box any time between him and Jude Bellingham. But it's one of the first times that England have been really positive with their play out the back. And it's a brilliant flick from Phil Foden as the ball goes to Shaw. It's a little touch from Foden. Great run from Bellingham, who gets down the side and he pulls the ball back across, and it's Jordan Henderson arriving with his left foot. The two midfield players really who have got that licence to drive forward and get into the box. The flick from Foden is absolutely exquisite with the outside of his left boot. Just skims it straight into Bellingham. He knows exactly where he is, and it's a comfortable finish. for Jordan Henderson with his left foot, side foot, just punches it across the goal. Really good, really well worked, shall I say, goal from England.
That's Matt Upson, and a view down on pitch side from Rob Green. I know it was the other end, Rob, but I'm sure you'll have had a view.
Yeah, and you just realise how many England fans are here when the actual goal goes in, because half the ground went up behind me, directly behind me. Everybody went up.
Ball into the penalty area for Senegal, taken down to the byline, but it's overrun by Dia and through for a goal kick. And you can finish that thought, Rob.
Yeah, but it was on the pitch. There was a real sense of relief, and you look at the reaction of the players, like, finally we've got one right there. Just then, the ball being run out of play, Jordan Henderson celebrating that, just like he did the goal. So, you know, there's all of a sudden a sense of feeling, a sense of relief about the players in the crowd. Just pure joy.
England 1, Senegal 0, and England become the first team to hit 10 goals at this World Cup. And Jordan Henderson, remember, he scored in the Euro quarter-final. You were there, Matt, in Rome last year against Ukraine. That was his first England goal.
Yep. Well,
so knockout stages last year, knockout stages this year. Here is Saka on the right-hand side, across. Kane is there, but falling, hits the shot, right foot, and hooked it over the top of the crossbar. And he's landed flat on his face. And you can tell what he's thinking. That was a chance to get his first goal at this World Cup.
Lovely play from Saka. Slowed the defender down, couple of slow touches, then shifts it onto his left foot. And I have to say, there's been 2 left-footed crosses. I think one from Kane and one from Bellingham. That cross from Bellingham from the goal, and now that one from Saka. That's 4 balls gone into the box that have been so inviting from wide areas. And it's somewhere that England have to keep probing, because we've clearly got the ability to manufacture that space.
Oh, that's a good pass from Kane to Saka, and Saka's left-footed ball right across the head of Foden, who couldn't get a touch on that. Perhaps if it had been Kane in that position rather than Foden, the taller man, it might have ended up in the net, but it's beyond and through. Goal kick.
I don't know about you, John, but I just get this feeling that England really needed that goal. It was getting a little bit edgy, wasn't it? Not a lot of confidence playing out from the back. That one piece of quality, that move, it just all came together. And I think when the quality does all connect, we all spoke about who was favourite for the game and the quality that England have in the team. When you see it all come together, you know, that's the end result. I think it's goals or it's efforts on goal. England just got to keep doing that.
Yeah, that's it. That's the story of this World Cup and England's performances so far.
Yeah, stay in the game, work hard, which I think we've naturally got such a good work ethic about the team. I mean, the midfield area and wide areas, you've got players that really are fit and put a shift in. And then just those moments in games where they can capitalise.
Given away by Koulibaly. Shaw was onto that. Bellingham back to Shaw. Shaw from an angle. Mendy comes out, and Shaw tried to cross it. He was running at pace. He was off balance. He tried to open his body and cross it. And Mendy raced along the dead ball line. Did get a touch to block it behind for a corner.
Well, it's Luke Shaw's anticipation is brilliant to step in front and win it. It's just a shame his first touch takes him so wide. I think Bellingham slides him in almost to have a shot, but he just doesn't get hold of the ball, and he toes it straight. And the moment he does that, Mendy's out, and it's very difficult for him to get his head up and get the ball back across the goal. But great anticipation initially.
Set piece though. England have been working on these, and it comes to the near post, but is headed away, didn't beat the first defender. Saka then puts in the challenge. 2 players came together. Saka's ended up on the ground. The ball's deflected into the full-back position and is cleared away towards the halfway line, where Maguire wins the header, and it bounces out of play for a throw-in to England. Saka still down on the ground. So 1-0 England lead. But just going back to what we were saying, while Saka is looked at here, he's going to get to his feet. I think he's okay. It's that connection. It's the connection of the play for England that simply hasn't always been there.
No.
But when it is there, it looks dangerous.
Well, it's unrealistic to expect it to happen all the time in every game. But there has to be moments of when it does connect. And we've just seen there the possibilities when it does all come together, and you've got players like Foden and Bellingham running forwards and linking up with little flicks and playing around the corner. It can be devastating.
So 1-0 England lead. Jordan Henderson, who's now almost giddy with goals for England, having not scored one till his 62nd appearance. He's now got 3 in 73, going goal mad. And England passing the ball out from the back. And here is the goal scorer, Jordan Henderson. And then Rice takes it in his path, and Rice is taking it down the right, but his low ball into the area is straight into the path of Koulibaly, who steers it behind, but it's another corner to England.
I mean, Jude Bellingham, I don't know what he's having for breakfast, John, but he's just everywhere on this pitch. And Declan Rice tries to pick out Foden, but really the ball probably is just slightly cut back to the penalty spot, because it's that man Bellingham, who I think might have even won the ball at the start of that move, gets himself in the box, and he's just bouncing about all over the pitch.
The 19-year-old who set up the opening goal for Henderson. Here's the corner from the right for England. Foden raises both arms this time. Left-footed delivery towards the back post. Maguire's after it, but Koulibaly got there first. And the ball bounces out on the far side for a throw-in to England. Shaw was being watched there all the way. 2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. But England got the crucial first goal, and relief was the word from an England point of view.
Absolutely, 100%. It was relief. I think there's a little bit of confusion, a little bit of lack of understanding, but then it's just clicked. And I think England just need to be solid. They've got to be careful when they have the ball at the back, that those passes aren't given away when they're trying to play through into the midfield, because it's when we're at our most vulnerable, when we're stretched, and Senegal just turn the ball over, they win that ball, and they're not shy in playing a forward pass straight away. They don't look to keep possession, they just want to hurt England.
Another excellent pass from Jude Bellingham, just as you were talking there, Matt. And then Bellingham has thrown himself to the ground. And Diao was just to his left, the Senegal number 9.
Yeah.
Referee's come across, blown his whistle, and then just sort of waved everyone to get on with it. I'm not sure what exactly happened there.
I think he gave him a shove.
But Saka committed a foul actually earlier, and so it's a free kick to Senegal inside their own half.
Yeah, I think he just shoved Jude Bellingham, Bouba Diop, in a little bit of frustration, but Saka just dangled his leg out, as Jacobs, I think it was, who was trying to go past him. It was a clear foul, and the referee just gave that foul and just tried to just settle everything down.
Well, the goal has settled England, certainly. The first goal, it felt it was going to be very important, but this match is still on a knife edge, and Senegal have already demonstrated that they can be a danger. As long pass is hit for Senegal down into the England right back area, but Walker is able to head that away, but it comes back at the England defence, and Dia is able to pull it down and use Ismail Assar, and now Jacobs away from Saka. His cross took a flick off Walker, but that took it back outside the box, but Pathé Ciss was beaten to it, and now Bellingham glides forward again. Brilliant play up to Foden, back to Kane, right foot shot. 2-0 England. Super move. Bellingham at the heart of it. Foden then provided it, and Harry Kane scored it. His first goal at this World Cup. It had been coming. Now it's arrived for the England captain, and England leads Senegal by 2-0.
What a goal from England. I mean, there's so many positives about that move, because out of possession, England was set brilliantly for the counter-attack, but you have to just talk about this guy, Jude Bellingham. I mean, I just can't tell you the impact he's had on this game, and his body language and presence in the middle of the park. He wins the ball off of a bit of a loose touch, but he's got so much to do in order to make this chance happen. He touches it past the Senegalese player. He then shrugs him off. He uses his pace and his range of running to get the other side of him. He has another touch, and then he's got the calmness to get his head up. He sees the pass, lays it off. It's one touch into the path of Kane, and he does not disappoint. Because let me tell you, that chance isn't easy, John. He's got a lot of time to think here, Harry Kane. He hasn't scored yet in this tournament. He has to settle himself. His composure is absolutely ice cold, and he bangs it with his right foot across the goal into the bottom corner. Fabulous goal from England.
Matt, that goal was absolutely buried by the England captain on his right foot, and that was the last action of the first half. That goal from Harry Kane is his 52nd for England. He's now one behind Wayne Rooney, and he has now scored his 11th goal at either a World Cup or a European Championship finals tournament, and that is a record for England. He moves ahead of Gary Lineker. and England are in charge. There were some awkward, difficult moments, but at half-time, two of the experienced heads have got the goals, Henderson and Kane, and it's England 2, Senegal 0.
But Matt Upson, and we've got Rob Green on the touchline, and Micah Richards is with us as well. The experienced heads have got the goal, but that half is all about Jude Bellingham.
It was a masterclass, wasn't it, in midfield play? I mean, referred to him a couple of times during the game, but I could have just done player cam. For a moment there, I was just doing player cam. I just wanted to watch him. The energy, his body language, the way he's springing about the pitch, his hands up in the air, waving, give me the ball, give me the ball. Like it's like watching an excited kid on a park, isn't it? The way he's playing with the freedom, the expression, the energy. I can't talk highly enough of it, and it's what you want to see in these high-pressure games, to have somebody with that mentality, to have the ball and want to drive, and just looks like he's enjoying football. That's Jude Bellingham.
He's 19. He's 19 years of age. To put in a performance like that is just incredible. When the game was flat and Senegal was causing us real problems, just when he needed someone to grab the game by the scruff of his neck, Bellingham was there. Whether it was defending, whether it was attacking, whether it was passing. And I like how aggressive he is as well. You know, the Senegalese team is strong and it's fast, and he's going up against them. What a performance it was.
He's so wiry, isn't he? Like you don't think he's going to get past the player, but he's got this stride length that once he touches it past someone, he's technically so good. He shifts to the side, he gets his arm across, and then these legs, and it's just, his stride pattern's massive. And I just think he just blows people away.
It's decision making as well.
It's decisive,
you know,
isn't it?
it's when you get into them areas, how many times have we heard of young players, when they get in the areas, he just needs to relax, needs to calm down, that part of his game will come. He's got it already at 19. It is breathtaking.
His body language, Rob Green, in your pitch side, his body language from the very first whistle was basically bring this on. I mean, his celebration when Henderson put the ball in the net was not far off to headbutt Henderson. in that celebration, I mean, they did go head to head. I mean, congratulating each other as they walked back, having congratulated Harry Kane. He's gesturing to the crowd to keep them up.
It has been incredible performance, and so much so that, you know, you talk about body language and the way someone carries themselves. The way that Senegal have got to go about the game has been really impressive. But then he gets the ball, and I don't think they have an answer for him. There, with that second goal, they tried to wipe him out. They tried to clean him out in the centre circle because they knew what was coming, and they just bounced off him. As a kid, you know, you don't fully grow as a male to what your brain doesn't deform to you're about 50, but your body's not about 25, 26. But he's nice. People are bouncing off him. Professional athletes are bouncing off him. It was brilliant to watch. I think with that first goal, there was a real sense of relief. The second one, just a sense of anticipation when the ball got to Harry Kane was brilliant. Everybody on the England bench was up. Everybody around the ground was waiting, going, this is it. He's going to get his goal. He didn't disappoint. Everyone went up.
You were behind Jordan Pickford's goal for that first 45 minutes. Senegal's tactics appeared to be spot on for so much of that half. Wait, and then basically when the ball went to Maguire, then they pressed. And I just wonder, from what you saw there, how Pickford or the England defence tried to calm that down, because there were some shaky moments, and that's down to how Senegal tactically set themselves up.
They did it really, really well initially. They did it well for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and you were wondering how long they could do it for, because it took real concerted energy as a group, and they all had to go. And it was interesting when we did get it right with that first goal. It was down that side. Maguire gets the ball, passes it out to short, and that was the trigger. And they all pressed sideways as well as up. And they're saying, they're gambling. They're saying, look, we back ourselves to get this right against you. And England managed to finally get it right through them for that first goal. But it was interesting. I think that John Stones, Kyle Walker and Pickford realised it before Maguire realised it. And he was getting the ball and thinking, what am I doing here? Whereas the rest of the players were seeing what the Senegalese players were doing, and we're thinking, no, come out. only by that time it was too late. Eventually, they got it right.
I mean, it was worrying me a little bit how if Harry Maguire got isolated out in that side, we saw it with Ndidi go all the way around him. He just didn't look like he quite had the reaction time when he was isolated with space around him. I mean, we know that a little bit about Harry Maguire anyway. And I think if the back four's right and it's identified, can support that, and he can still have a very good performance in the game. But with the ball, we have to be careful. And it's just the quality. I mean, it hasn't been a brilliant England performance in that first half in terms of, you look at the 45 minutes globally, it's not been that great. We've just had moments, and I'm just looking at the replay of the first goal. Jude Bellingham, I mean, there's four Senegalese players between him and Jordan Henderson, and he picks him out with his left foot. Absolutely inch perfect, the delivery of the cross. So there's just been a couple of moments of super quality that's basically decided this game.
Well, we said that though, didn't we, before the game? I think looking at the teams, we said it'd be cagey, we said it'd be tense, but all in all, the quality is shown.
Yeah.
When they move the ball quick, they're getting the results, and that's what they need to keep doing. I think it was lucky at times. You know, they had a couple of chances, Senegal. If that goes in, the game could have changed. But it's just about patience, and I think, in credit to England, they could have folded, but they didn't. They stood up to it. They got the right moments. They got the moments right in the game that they needed to, and they got the 2 goals. And I can't be happy enough for them.
Micah, Matt, Rob, for the moment, thank you very much. So England lead Senegal by 2-0 at half-time, 4 minutes to 11 here in Qatar, 4 minutes to 8 in the UK. Here's the latest news.
Take the World Cup with you. Qatar 2022.
On BBC Sounds, this is BBC Radio 5 Live.
With the BBC News for 5 Live, I'm Carl Hartley. The RMT union has rejected an offer from the Rail Delivery Group, which represents train companies aimed at preventing strikes in the run-up to Christmas. It included an 8% pay increase for workers over 2 years and a guarantee of no compulsory redundancies until 2024. The nursing union RCN has described comments made by a government minister saying planned walkouts over Christmas was what Vladimir Putin wants to see as shameful. Nadeem Zahari made the comments while outlining government plans for public sector strikes. The BBC understands that talks are taking place between Buckingham Palace and charity boss Ngozi Fulani after she accused a former lady-in-waiting of racism. Lady Susan Hussey has since apologised and stepped down from her role. The Iranian Attorney General says the authorities are moving to dismantle the country's so-called morality police, which enforce a strict Islamic dress code. Unrest has swept Iran since a 22-year-old woman died while being held by the police. And the Prime Minister has praised a controversial host Qatar for hosting what he's described as an incredible World Cup so far. Rishi Sunak tweeted ahead of this evening's game between England and Senegal, saying the group stages will be remembered as one of the all-time greats.
BBC Sounds.
Trifocal goggles to sonar pulse. Is someone there?
A new thriller podcast from BBC Radio 4.
What's your plan?
I'll tell you when I've got one.
The fight to save the world begins.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Peter, stand down right now.
With Sacha Darwin and Will Poulter.
I am not responsible for a couple of rogue hackers. Ooh, now that is what I'm talking about.
Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Firewall.
Let's change the world.
Listen on BBC Sounds. BBC 5 Live.
The FIFA World Cup, Qatar 2022, with Mark Chapman.
England lead Senegal 2-0 at half-time, second half on the way. Away from here, Pakistan will start the final day of the first test against England in Rawalpindi, needing 263 to win. They've got 8 wickets remaining. England declared their second innings on 264 for 7. The home side closing on 80 for 2. Here's Paul Collingwood with Simon Mann.
Well, Paul Collingwood, for a large part of this game, a lot of people back home might have thought this is going to be a certain draw, but it looks like it's going to go one way or the other on the final day. How do you assess it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the way that the dressing room wanted to be, that Ben's always said and Baz has always said that we want to put ourselves in positions to win test matches, and it has been a pretty docile pitch in the first 4 days, and we've got ourselves, the way that we play the game, you can get yourself in position. We buy ourselves time, the way that we play with a bat, and hopefully we've given ourselves enough time, even with all those hours that we've lost during the test match with bad light. Hopefully we've given ourselves enough time to win the game tomorrow.
I mean, Ben Stokes said before the game, Baz McCullum as well said, we're prepared to win the game. I mean, how disappointing would it be to lose the game when you score 650 in your first innings?
Well, it wouldn't be. I think that's the whole point of it. Is obviously we always want to win, and obviously, when you lose games, it is disappointing. But as long as you played in the right brand of cricket and played in the right way, and given yourself an opportunity to win the game, and giving yourself enough time to win the game, then there's no shame in losing. There's always has to be a winner and a loser in Test cricket, and as a bigger picture, Baz always and Stokesy want to make Test cricket a lot more exciting. We want to bring the crowds back in the future, and this is another example of making a bold declaration to actually make the game a lot more exciting.
One final thing, I know your focus is on this game, but there's a big football match tonight. It kicks off at midnight. I mean, you as the coaching staff, the players, are they going to be allowed to watch it?
I'll be watching, yeah, definitely, 100%. It's only midnight. You only need a couple of hours sleep, don't you? So, no, I'm looking forward to it. It's, if we can get through to the quarters and further, it's going to be exciting.
Do you think are the players going to be watching it with a big day ahead tomorrow?
I can imagine. Well, a few of them are going to be pretty tired, to be honest. So if they can stay up that long, they'll have it on definitely.
England coach Paul Collingwood there. Coverage resumes 4:40 tomorrow morning on Sports Extra. Obviously the winners here are going to take on France in the quarter-finals. They beat Poland 3-1. Olivier Giroud got one of the goals, and in doing so broke the French goal-scoring record. Here's his captain, Hugo Lloris.
Very good night, a great feeling. First of all for the team, because we're going to have an opportunity to play a quarter-final of World Cup, and it's a great feeling. And then, yes, there is a generation of players that are playing for a while now for the French national team, and I'm so happy for Olivier to break the number of goal record. It's just amazing feeling to live this experience, to share this experience all together, and at this stage of the competition now we don't want to put limit. We want to continue as far as we can.
That was that was Hugo Lloris on Olivier Giroud breaking the goal-scoring record for France. The other two goals came from Kylian Mbappe. Meanwhile, Brazilian head coach Tite says Neymar will be available for their last 16 game against South Korea tomorrow. He sustained ligament damage in the first game against Serbia. England on their way back out here. Jude Bellingham, the youngest player to assist in a World Cup game for England since 1966, and Jordan Henderson tonight has become the second oldest ever World Cup goal scorer after Tom Finney against the USSR in 1958. And with his memories of that goal, John Murray.
Yes, I remember.
Happy birthday, by the way. Happy birthday.
That's very kind of you. Yes, I did something this morning that I've never done before as well. I tweaked a hamstring on the morning of my 56th birthday.
Wow.
Running, John. Were you running?
Yeah, I was.
Too fast,
just downhill all the way from now on.
It is, very much so. However, for England, they're at the top of the tree. 2-0 up. Senegal have made a triple substitution, so I think that tells you what Aliou Cissé is thinking down there. It had to be rapid action for him. 2-0 down. Can you see any way back, Matt Upson?
I think it's a bit early to say that the game's dead and buried, but there's got to be a massive turn about how Senegal are going to create enough chances to score 2 goals in that game. They looked a threat at times in the first half, but a lot of that was down to maybe us giving the ball away and being a little bit sloppy. So if England are very professional, are very confident in this second half. I think they've got a real uphill task to get back in this game.
Well, no changes for England, who lead through those goals from Henderson and Kane. England with Pickford in goal. Walker, Stones, Maguire and Shaw are the back four. Rice, Henderson and Bellingham in the middle. Saka on the right, Foden on the left, and Harry Kane through the middle. As I say, now 52 goals for England, so he is one behind Wayne Rooney's record for the England men's team. And Senegal making 3 changes, so Crépin Diatta has been substituted, so has Pathé Ciss from the midfield, and Iliman Ndiaye is off as well, the Sheffield United man. And the 3 to come on are Bamba Dieng and also Pap Gay, and Pap Sarr of Tottenham has come on as well, who has not yet played for Tottenham in a competitive match, the 20-year-old who is very highly thought of by Tottenham, but yet to play. But he comes on tonight, the number 17, to win his 12th cap for Senegal.
Yeah, big prospect, I think, John. I think he's been on loan, hasn't he, at Metz a couple of times, so he hasn't been at Spurs much, but yeah, highly rated 20-year-old. See what he can do. Great opportunity for him.
Yep, and he's on the same field as his Tottenham teammate Harry Kane. So England with the ball at the back, and here is John Stones. And that second goal, it was right before half-time, and Jude Bellingham there, and just see that, you know, it's again, Boulaye Dia is having a little nibble at him. The ball had gone, but here's Saka, and now Henderson clips it across, and it is cleared away on the edge of the 6-yard box by Koulibaly. There were players arriving in white, but he couldn't pick them out, Henderson.
No, but I'm just loving the way that Henderson and Bellingham are both arriving in wide areas, which is crossing position, so they're making themselves available to run wide of the 18-yard box, but also getting in the box. This is Bellingham on the left-hand side now.
Well, he's popped up on the left now. He's into the penalty area, but he just couldn't get past Sabali, who was able to block it away, and the referee spotted an infringement by Bellingham on him.
A little bit of a flip-flap, wasn't it, from Bellingham, just dragging the ball with the same foot, just trying to flick it and almost nutmeg the opposition. That's where he's at in his head. That's the confidence oozing out of this lad.
So that's Matt Upson. Another England World Cup man, Rob Green, is down on the touchline behind the goal. So Rob will be watching England attack towards him in the second half. And still we hear that brilliant noise coming out of the several hundred Senegal fans who have not been affected in the slightest by the fact that their team have conceded those 2 goals. England win it back. Here's Kane in the centre circle, finds Bellingham. Bellingham now is actually shrugged off the ball by Koulibaly, and he's had some great victories tonight, but he lost out to Koulibaly there.
He did. Koulibaly was just too strong for him. I think he anticipated it really early, and he got his big frame across Jude Bellingham. The moment he stepped across him, there's not many people that are going to shrug Koulibaly off.
So 2-0 England lead, and we're looking at England against France in this stadium on Saturday night. But Senegal aren't finished yet. Cross from the right-hand side. Actually, it lands at the feet of the newly arrived Pap Sarr of Tottenham, who hit a bouncing shot, hit it, and pulled it well wide from, 22 yards.
Yeah, it was a good reaction from Saka, who's wide out on the right-hand side of the pitch, because there's quite a big hole on the edge of the box. The Senegal work it well to the wide area. The cross comes in, a slight deflection, but I think Saka is just arriving and puts Pathé Sarr off, so he just drags his left foot shot and pulls it wide.
So England take the goal kick out from the back, and Luke Shaw is able to take it down. So Senegal have made 3 substitutions. Gareth Southgate, you would think, would certainly make changes during the course of this second half, and absolutely certainly if England are able to get a 3rd goal. But we have that scenario now whereby the next goal is all important in this. If England score it, that has to be game over. Walker down the right tried to play it round the one side of Jacobs, but he was able to recover and put the ball out of play for a throw into England, level with the edge of the Senegal penalty area. So Saka takes the throw back to Henderson, and then Rice Rice low and through the middle to Harry Kane, who comes deep and then very nearly found the pass through to Saka through the inside right position. It was just intercepted on the edge of the box.
He had to see that, Jacobs, didn't he, the left back? If he'd have just stayed out wide, Kane had the confidence to have his first touch. He didn't feel the defender come all the way with him and just turned on the ball quickly. And there aren't many better than Harry Kane at finding these passes. He's so creative, by the way. He just slides the ball in the path of the wide players, and it was good anticipation from Jacobs just to step inside and cut that pass out.
We've got a 6:06 tonight, by the way. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton will be taking your calls, so you can get in touch. Hashtag BBC 606, 5 Live Sport on air till 10 o'clock tonight. Every match at this World Cup live on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And the highlights, you might want to see them tonight. They're on BBC One after the news. And look out for, well, certainly Jude Bellingham's performance. I think they'll be purring about that in the analysis tonight, but also the way that Harry Kane buries that shot.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you were purring on that run earlier, John, if you've done your hammy. I mean, don't you have to be running fast to... yeah?
I won't be running fast for a few weeks, I know that much. Here's Shaw, takes the throw, gives it to Bellingham, and then Foden. Shaw allows it to run. Kane gives it back to Shaw inside the box. Then Bellingham takes over, and Bellingham now, 2 players around him, from foot to foot. It's only half cleared, comes out to Kane. Referee very nearly gets in the way. Kane then works it back centrally. Rice now out to the right-hand side to Walker. England look, when they're on it, they look very slick.
It's different, isn't it, John?
There's a threat from so many areas.
Yeah, the confidence, the 2-goal cushion and the belief. Whether or not there was just a little bit of doubt at the start of this game, but at the start of this second half, England supremely confident in having the ball, and the movement off it is absolutely excellent. Senegal really struggling to block all the holes.
Kane was put under pressure from Dieng, and the ball ran away, but too far away from Dieng, and there was cover there, and it was played back to Pickford. Incidentally, 7 of this team have started all 4 matches. Pickford, Shaw, Rice, Stones, Maguire, Kane and Bellingham. That's your core. And here is Foden, who might well be part of the core after this, playing the ball through though, and through the goalkeeper.
I just saw John Stones just stretch his hamstring there for a moment after that little sprint across, as Maguire was really quite sloppy with the ball and got caught on the ball, and he had to really put the power down to get across and deal with it, and he just bent down and stretched his hamstring a little bit, Stones.
Now that is a worry. John Stones, one of that core, and so comfortable together. And England will be monitoring that very carefully. Although I don't see any imminent sign.
No,
you know, Gareth Southgate is not on the edge of the coaching area, and he just steps now from underneath the roof of the dugout with England written across it in those block capitals as Rice wins the ball back in centre field. Here's Harry Kane. Kane forward to Saka. Saka takes it wide but shoots from the angle, well wide, and it's behind, and it's a goal kick. And let's go down pitch side to Rob Green again.
Yes, Johnny, it's a real sort of a different feeling to the start of the second half, in and around the ground as well, on down pitch side. It feels like the jeopardy's gone out of it a bit, the belief of Senegal's gone out of a bit of it, and it also, the England players are looking like they're really enjoying it. You touched on it there, but the way that they're just trying things together on the edge of the box, and when things don't go off in the first half, there was this real frustration, a looking around, we weren't quite sure. They're like, okay, it's fine, we'll just go again, we'll just try something else. Just on John Stones, immediately it was Eric Dyer and Conor Cody getting up to warm up. They've been joined now by 3 others, but there was a straight reaction from the bench.
Yeah, I just saw him, Green. He just pulled up a little bit. You know, when after you've had a sprint and you bend down and you just stretch your hand and you touch the back of your hamstring. And I'm just watching him walking now, John Stone. He's kicking his leg out a little bit. He's not labouring as such, but he looks like he feels something.
I know the feeling very well, Matt. You know, the number of times I've seen footballers do that.
Yeah.
You know, where he'll never done it. Never done it. And then this morning,
electric shock, isn't it?
This morning, I found myself doing exactly that. However, it's turned out it's not the most concerning hamstring pull of the day. So we'll just keep an eye on John Stones, who seems to be moving okay.
Yeah.
Stones puts his foot in, wins the ball back. He looks okay. And out to the left-hand side it goes. Shaw back to Kane. Kane finds the pass to Saka. Well played from Harry Kane. Saka has got the overlap there as well. Here is the ball in from Henderson, a stretch and away though, near the edge of the penalty area. But back to England, who take possession again. If you just switched on to us on 5 Live, with this scoreline, England are on course to set up a quarter-final back in this stadium, the Al Bayt, in the north of Doha, the big tent stadium, on Saturday night. Kane. Harry Kane's going to have a shot from distance. Oh! Mendy very nearly spilt it. Down to his right, the goalkeeper went, the Chelsea goalkeeper, and the ball actually squirmed away from him, back under his body to his side, but he was able to pick himself up. And that was not far away from squirming under his body.
No, I mean, it was a sharp piece of thinking from Harry Kane, because he just pulled the shot towards the near post. I think Mendy was anticipating the ball across the goal. But Greeny, you must have had a great view of that. It was a difficult ball to handle from what I've seen.
Rob will be with us in a moment or two, but England lose possession just inside their own half, so Senegal have got it back. Ball played along the halfway line, taps Sarr, but in comes Shaw, strong challenge, good challenge to win it back. Shaw then up towards Harry Kane. Kane has a look to his left, challenge comes in on him, but the ball bounces to Foden. Foden's away, keeps his feet on the left, Foden's cross, Saka is in there! It's 3-0! Oh, what a lovely finish from Bukayo Saka! But that was Phil Foden who was the creator this time. Brilliant, kept his feet, in came the ball, and with his left foot in the 6-yard box, Bukayo Saka makes it 3-0 to England and scores his 3rd goal at this World Cup. And England now can begin to look to the quarter-final and to France here on Saturday night.
Well, it's just absolute cruise control from England now. You know, that goal there, it's been such a confident start to this second half. But Phil Foden just rides the challenges brilliantly. That man Bellingham, he's on the run again, dragging defenders all over the place. So Foden gets isolated out wide and he skips past one tackle. Koulibaly comes out to try and block the cross. And Foden just pops it straight through his legs. He sees Saka. I mean, it's a brilliant cross. I have to say, England in these areas of the pitch today, our delivery from wide areas has been absolutely spot on. And the finish from Saka, well, it's a lovely little deft touch with his left foot. He sees Mendy coming out, and it's just a little lift up into the air, into an empty goal. Super goal. All 3 goals, John, have been brilliant pieces of quality. And, you know, the wide areas we're exploiting is absolutely superb.
And England goalkeeper Rob Green's got the ground level view on that.
It was directly in front of me, and the way that Phil Foden rode those challenges was just brilliant. He knew they were coming. He knew he was going to take a hit at some point, but kept his composure. And as you say, that touch, that little dink, that knowing where the goal is, a guy full of confidence, full of smiles afterwards. 3-4 yards in front of me, just everybody, just pure joy. It was a real goal of pleasure and enjoyment, and just some young lads loving playing football together, and it's brilliant to see.
And listen, as Saka makes a run through the middle, England are greedy here, they're looking for more. Kane to Henderson, it could open up for England once more. Walker with the cross, but that's blocked, hits the defender and is out of play for a throw on the right.
Well, Senegal have to kind of get together a little bit here. They're really struggling at the moment with the movement and the interplay and the ability for Saka and Foden to come in the pitch, go out the pitch, the runs from deep from Bellingham and Henderson. I think Jacobs and Sabali have had decent games, but they're really struggling to cope in wide areas at the moment.
Throw-in for England. A long one, looking for Kane inside the area. Senegal are struggling here. That was a tired header away on the edge of the box. But it runs to Sabali here. Down below us, way down below us. We're high on the dressing room side of the ground. Sabali is then tackled, actually fouled by Bellingham, who mistimed that. He's handed out a few of his own, but he's been on the receiving end, and still we've actually not had a yellow card in the match.
I mean, he could have easily got a yellow card, but I think his reaction straight after, there wasn't masses of contact, but he certainly goes to ground. And I think that the tackles just jumped, so there's not really any contact, and he apologises straight away to the referee, and I think he just looked at him and thought, OK, I'll let you off, but could have easily got a yellow card. And like you say, it's it's a clean disciplinary record, isn't it, that England have in this tournament.
So Bukayo Saka scoring what is his 7th goal for England, and that's becoming, that's a good total now. 7 in what is 23 appearances, 3 at this World Cup. And again, as we discussed during the game against Iran, after the finals last year and what happened to Bukayo Saka at the end, to come back in the next tournament, his first World Cup, and do this is highly notable from the young Arsenal man. Here is Kane, oh lovely, leaves Koulibaly on the ground, now Foden's onto this, but the covering challenges are there this time, and Koulibaly was able to get up and get a touch back to goalkeeper Mendy.
Our midfield 3 at the moment are just absolutely on fire. I know we've been talking a lot about Bellingham, but the performances of Henderson and Rice as well, John. I mean, to sit behind those 3 as centre-backs, they're just scrapping for every ball in the middle of the park. They're cutting out passes, they're just out manoeuvring Senegal in the middle of the park, and they just haven't got an answer for them.
Well, the point is, Matt, you're not changing this now, are you?
No, I don't think so. I think that we spoke a lot about seeing what the right balance is for England. Well, at the moment, those 3 sat in the middle of the park is just doing wonders.
Yeah, all of the pre-tournament talk. Well, since the Euros, after England changed it during the course of the tournament last year and switched when it came to the knockout stages to 3 central defenders, well, such as the quality of England's play when they're coming forward, and this midfield 3, when you think about taking on France, which of course we have to do now, then it would seem that England would surely stay with Henderson, Rice and Bellingham. We've got another stoppage. There's an injury to one of the Cameroon players, actually Ismail Assar, who I think is going to be okay, but I think a change is imminent, Rob Green.
Yeah, two players who've played prominent parts so far, Jack Grealish and Marcus Rashford, are stripped off, ready to come on.
Thank you, Rob. So Rashford will win his 50th cap here tonight. Next time I would imagine the ball goes out of play, and yes, we can now see Jack Grealish preparing himself to come on into the action. But England in control, Matt Upson, leading by 3-0.
Absolute cruise control now, it really is. It's just stroking the ball around, still getting bodies forward and having those moments, those passages of play where our quality has just carved the game open at several occasions. 3 excellent goals, a couple of them almost like breakaways, like counter-attacks, but some of the movement we're seeing from Foden and Saka has been excellent, and England in absolute total control of this game at the moment.
England 3, Senegal 0, and England dominated possession in the second half, scored the 3rd goal, and now it looks as though this is the end of the road for Senegal. But the changes are going to be made. So Marcus Rashford is going to step forward, and this is exactly what Gareth Southgate was looking for, although Jordan Henderson's taken a bang.
Is that Henderson on the floor? That might change the substitutions a little bit.
They're just going to delay it. Gareth Southgate's just saying, let's just see how Henderson is. I think it was just a coming together, wasn't it, with Jacobs, the left back?
I think he's holding the leg where the contact was, which was always good. It's never good to hold a leg, the one that was in the turf where you're twisting or turning, but I think it's just a kick.
Down to Rob Green.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much concern, and it's one of the goal scorers in Bukayo Saka who's coming off, who's just received a pat on the back from a couple of teammates as he's making his way off. So that's one sub, and you'd imagine Phil Foden being the other. So it's 2 subs, like for like swaps. 2 players who've played really well this evening here, and you think they'll make a real feature in the next game against France as well.
So off go Foden and Saka, who have both made fine contributions this evening. Phil Foden with his all-round game, and Saka scoring his 3rd goal at this World Cup, Matt Upson.
Yeah, I think they can walk off and hold their head high, and Gareth Southgate can have a look at his selection and say, I think we've got the right balance, I think we've got the right people in the right positions, but those 2 especially, I think have been excellent, and it's just another example of the quality of the youth of this England team.
Henderson's okay, that's the good news from his point of view. Takes this free kick actually back to Walker, and then forward to Maguire, who was picked up for a foul inside the penalty area. There were 2 defenders either side of him. So Phil Foden and Bukayo Saka actually left the field on the far side, which means they've had that that very pleasant walk around the far side and in front of all of the England fans, and indeed Rob Green down there as well, and they've been able to take the acclaim 3-0 up and enjoy the walk.
It's pleasant when it's in front of your own fans, isn't it? Maybe not the opposition at certain grounds.
In all honesty, I think walking past these Senegal fans inside this ground, they were brilliant actually during the anthem as well. I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
They gave the national anthem, the English anthem, a lovely reception.
Yeah.
They applauded it.
Oh, they're a great set of supporters. I mean, they're still
they'll
going.
Be a great loss to the World Cup.
The swaying and the drumming and the rhythm is all still there. They're having a great time in the stand.
So England lead Senegal by 3-0. Henderson, Kane and Saka. So Rashford is on. Marcus Rashford has come on as a substitute in 3 of the 4 matches. It's quite a bold call, wasn't it? 2 goals against Wales to leave him out today.
Yeah, it was a bold call, but you know, some players are great at having impact. I think Rashford comes to that category.
Rice is fouled, centre field. Ball was played into him by Rashford, but the challenge came in from Ismail Assar, so a free kick to England. But Marcus Rashford's got Kylian Mbappe to catch now.
Yeah.
Was joint top scorer at the World Cup this morning. Mbappe has now moved 2 ahead of him.
Well, I think there's going to be an opportunity for him in this game. The way Senegal are now, they find it very difficult to cope with the movement and just keep up with how England are playing. If England want us to keep pushing it, don't be surprised if Rashford gets presented with an opportunity and maybe just drags one of those goals back.
And Jack Grealish has now come on as a substitute in all 4 matches of this World Cup. So Grealish is on for what is his 28th cap. 50th cap for Rashford. Great moment, great milestone for any international footballer. I remember very well seeing his debut when he scored in the first couple of minutes against Australia before Euro 2016. And it's been quite a journey. There have been some great ups and little periods as well where he's just not been in contention, but he's got there. 50th cap, and to do it at a World Cup, well done him. Senegal coming forward with the ball on the right-hand side. Sabali playing it through, but Dia went one way and the ball went the other. And I'm afraid this match for Senegal has very much got the look of an exit from the World Cup in the next half hour or so.
You can really feel it in the tempo of the game now, can't you? And the mood around the stadium. That 3rd goal really has put the result to bed for England. And Senegal are just kind of hanging in there. They're almost not able to take this game to England at the moment, such as the quality of the midfield and the press. I'm looking at Declan Rice just sprinting straight out to Mendy, I think it is, who had the ball, and it's just relentlessness from our midfield 3 at the moment.
England 3 up, but Senegal coming forward towards the edge of the box. It's played back into centre field, and Pape Sarr tries a shot that is immediately closed down, but it bounces back into the centre circle. Mendy is there, and Nampalys Mendy out to the left-hand side, where Senegal with Ismail Assar crosses from the left flank, but that lands on the roof of the net, and it's all rather vain, isn't it, now for Senegal, who came through in such good fashion against Ecuador to get into the knockout stages of this World Cup, but they look like a beaten team.
Yeah, I think England have managed to keep their wide players relatively quiet as well. Sarr has had a really big impact for Senegal, coming off that left-hand side, just driving into the box, winning penalties, being a nuisance, but England have coped with that okay. It's just been more in the first half when we had the ball and we weren't quite sure about our movements, and the quality of passing wasn't quite there. We looked a little bit vulnerable, but other than that, especially this second half, been super controlled from England.
This is 5 Live and BBC Sounds, who are across Africa on the World Service as well. And I'm sure, if Sadio Mane had been fit, that was such a bad break for Senegal to lose him, as England come forward with Henderson again on the right-hand side. Henderson playing it round the defender, then threw himself to the ground, but he wasn't going to win that free kick, and Senegal bring it away. They needed all hands on deck, really, for Senegal for this
I think
match.
Another player that we haven't really touched on was Cheick Kouyaté, who got injured in the first game. I mean, experienced Premier League defensive midfield player, he gets injured, and I think the Netherlands scored both their goals after he goes off the pitch, so he provided that really good screen in front of the back 3 or back 4, so Now, we haven't touched on him, but I think he's a big miss in a tournament like this for Senegal.
Yeah, lost Bouna Sarr of Bayern Munich as well, the full-back. So injuries have really cost Aliou Cissé's team, and to get through to the last 16 actually was
big achievement.
In these circumstances, that can be classed as an achievement. But England just sitting off, just having a breather in the game at the moment actually, and allowing Senegal some possession, which they've got on the right. Sabali is dispossessed by Grealish with those white socks 3/4 of the way down his calves. Grealish does well, finds the space, and then Rice is bundled over, and it's a free kick to England in front of that penalty area.
He wasn't going to be panicked there, was he? Jack Grealish, crikey, in his own, near his own corner flag, just waiting, manoeuvring the ball, using his strength, using his footwork, and then all of a sudden the pass opens up and bomb, he just pops it through to Rice, and England are out switching the play on the other side, and little indication of the relaxed quality that England are playing with right now.
Next change for Senegal, the number 9, Boulaye Dia, who had a big chance early on in the game. He has been substituted, and it's the former Bristol City man, Famara Jeju, who comes on to play up front, who is now playing in Turkey with Alanyaspor. So that is the 4th change that Senegal have made. So Jeju is on up front. Go back down to Rob Green in a moment, but Senegal bringing the ball forward up the left-hand side, but the ball was out of play. So, Rob, what are you thinking at the moment?
Yeah, just you always sense from the crowd how you think the game's going and then what they're thinking about the game, and 2 or 3 times they've tried to start a Mexican wave, so I think you know that they think the game is up with that. And just when you were talking about the midfield, I've been watching Declan Rice, and he almost prowls in the centre of midfield, watching and waiting, and it's the 3rd pass that he waits for. He waits and waits, and he then sprints and reads the 3rd pass in the move, and he's ready to pounce, and that's when he goes.
Senegal coming forward and winning a free kick 25 yards out, while Marcus Rashford was actually down, holding his head on the far side, taking a bang on the back of the head, I think, from an aerial challenge. Not sure how much there was in that, but he's back on his feet. He's able to take up a position, and Senegal have this free kick in a good position, Matt.
Yeah, it's a decent position. It's a fair way out, in fairness. Whether or not they've got that kind of capability to hit the ball flat and bounce it in front of Pickford. Can't quite see who it is who's going to take the free kick. I think it might be Pape Sarr on the ball with his right foot. Let's see if he has a shot, or just maybe tries to clip this one. It's far enough out, John, just to float it to the back post for another player to head it back across the goal.
Yep, 2-man England wall. It's between 25 and 30 yards out, and it's hit low, but Pickford's able to go down to his left, and the strike goalwards from Pape Sarr was probably a couple of feet wide of the post. Pickford knew it was going past.
Yeah, the wall was well set up. He tried to go round the inside of the wall into the near post. He sets it out wide, just tries to bend that ball round with his right foot, but Jordan Pickford all the way across there, no problem for him.
So a goal kick to England. So with these 3 goals, England have now scored 12 at this World Cup, so on their own as the leading scorers at the tournament. England against France on Saturday night, and another England change imminent, I think you can see, Rob Green.
Another couple, I think. Calvin Phillips is just stripping off and getting his match shirt on, and someone who already has his on and is ready to come on, getting his final instructions, Mason Mount. So some of the guys who started Mason Mount, who started the tournament and has also come on, subs that we've seen before are being ready to be made.
Thank you, Rob. So England leading by 3 goals to nil, and 12 goals. You know, when you think how potent England were in Russia 4 years ago, and you know, this is Gareth Southgate's England team that play with the handbrake on. That's not bad, Matt.
I'd like to see him with the handbrake off.
Well, the critics would as well, wouldn't they? Rice to Walker, and then the ball is played back into central defence, where John Stones will head it back to Jordan Pickford. It's the tournaments you're judged on.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been talking about the variety of attacking talent England have and the depth. I think that's been the impressive thing. I mean, you mentioned how many goals, but those goals have come from lots of different names, John, haven't they? From all over the pitch, and especially our midfield and wide players, which is just great to see.
Koulibaly's put in a challenge on Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Just sort of got his knee into the back of his sort of right leg, and Kane has gone down. I think it'll be a bruise. I don't think it'll be anything worse than that, and he is back up on his feet.
It's a yellow card, but it was very much a tackle of, I've had enough of this game now, and I'm getting frustrated, and I'm just going to smash straight into the back of the centre forward when I get my next opportunity, and that's pretty much exactly what Koulibaly did.
So it's Jude Bellingham who is the next England player to make way. What a night he's had. And also John Stones, who we thought might have had a little issue, and John Stones is going to walk freely off the field. I'll ask Gareth Southgate later how things are with him, but he's actually trotting, running off the field. And so coming on to replace him, Eric Dyer gets his second appearance at this World Cup, having come on as a substitute against Iran, and it was Mason Mount, wasn't it, who's come on?
Mason Mount on, yes, that's correct. And John Stones just having a chat. Not too sure if there is. I don't think there clearly isn't a problem, John. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to carry on. But it's just interesting that they've taken him off in this moment.
And Jude Bellingham's performance tonight.
I mean, the talk's all going to be about Jude Bellingham from that first half. I think the whole of the England team have got that confidence and have played well in this second half. But he was the difference in the first. He was the one who's kind of led that charge by playing as freely and as confidently as what he did right from the first whistle. And I just love his energy and what he brings to the game. He's been outstanding for England so far in this tournament.
So, England with a free kick on the left-hand side. We're in the last 15 minutes now. There will be a 6:06 tonight once we've rounded up all of the day's World Cup news. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton will take your calls. But England with a free kick. Shaw plays in, high across the penalty area. Maguire heads it back, but the Senegal are able to clear it. Mendy was the player closest to it. And England go back all the way to Jordan Pickford. Just for the record, England's goal scorers now at this World Cup, Rashford and Saka have got 3 each. As the ball is played forward to Rashford, but he won't reach that. The attendance is announced as 65,985. Not absolutely certain about that. There does seem to be quite a lot of empty seats inside the stadium, but however, that is the official attendance, which is something like 3,000, 2,500 short of capacity, with Senegal winning a free kick inside their own half. So yeah, so far for England at this World Cup, 3 goals for Rashford, 3 for Saka, and then 1 each for Bellingham, Sterling, Grealish, Foden, Henderson and Kane.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant that they're shared around, and you know, we haven't got our centre forward, our main talisman, really firing in this tournament yet. But I think he's had a massive contribution, Harry Kane, in terms of assists and the way he's pulling defenders out of position to allow those players to get in where it hurts, and the runs from midfield. I'm really excited about that, how our midfielders look so attacking. It's been a real positive from this game and other matches in the tournament.
This is BBC 5 Live. Listen as well via BBC Sounds. First test is back on Sports Extra in the early hours tomorrow. I know they said they were going to be watching this game tonight, and then tomorrow we'll have all the reaction, 5 Live breakfast. Rick Edwards is going to be in the Souk Waqif in the morning again, and then 2 more commentaries tomorrow: Japan, Croatia and Brazil, South Korea, from inside the stadiums. You know the drill by now. But here's Grealish for England. Grealish playing it back to Henderson, who whips a ball over the top. This is for Rashford to chase. Rashford across. Kane just couldn't get there on his left foot. Went to ground, stretching the left foot, but couldn't make contact, and Senegal clear.
Absolutely love that move, what I've just seen from England. I love the fact that Jordan Henderson knows it's Marcus Rashford out on that right-hand side, and he didn't even look for that pass, John. It came to him, and he just flicked that round the corner, over the top. Rashford's on his bike. First time cross across the box, about penalty spot, and Harry Kane probably about a foot away from making contact. It would have been another super goal from England that happened out of nothing with real pace and precision. But that's what you get when Marcus Rashford plays wide. You know that space in behind is where he wants the ball, more than having it to feet, like Foden does and like Saka does out there, and you can just spin it in behind for him.
Given away to Rashford as well, and he's off and running. Senegal defenders trying to catch him, but he weaves back out to the right-hand side and plays it back into his own half. Harry Kane was really just a matter of inches away from getting a touch on that in the middle of the goal. Calvin Phillips is waiting to come on, just off the pitch at the halfway line. And England with Shaw, back to Grealish, brown hair, sweat back. Grealish passes the ball from foot to foot and then has his legs taken away from him by Bamba Dieng. And it's a free kick to England on the left-hand side. And just on Harry Kane, if you remember, so he's got to 52 goals for England tonight, and we will hear from Ellen White, incidentally, a little bit later again, who herself has scored 52 goals for the England women's team. But Harry Kane, who didn't score in the group stages at the Euros last year, but scored 4 goals in the knockout stages. And it's Jordan Henderson who is going to leave the field, having scored the opening goal tonight shortly before half-time. And he has, as they say in football, put in a shift this evening here.
I mean, I think he's the one selection in the team that could have definitely been up for debate, but not after tonight. We saw the impact he had in the last game, but the midfield three in this match, for me, have been the standout performers. They've just been brilliant, both in and out of possession. I love the intensity which they hunt the ball down together, the timing, the balance of Declan Rice just sitting in front of the two centre-backs, and like what Greeny said, just timing when he wants to go out and win the ball or intercept a pass. And Henderson, I mean, how many times he's got forward in the box, John? He's just been arriving in the box all the time. And to have the freedom to do that, knowing that Declan Rice is behind you, it's looked really good in that area of the pitch for England.
England 3, Senegal 0. So I think you can get out your permanent marker and write in France against England on Saturday night. So that's 6 days, another 6-day gap now before England and France play again. So that is 7 o'clock GMT, so 7 o'clock in the UK. In what will be the last of the quarter-finals on Saturday night. And you know, England will have to clearly think very carefully about France, but I think France will have to think very carefully about England.
Absolutely, I really agree. I think that it's just such a fascinating matchup, isn't it? Massive game for this stage in the tournament as well, isn't it? I know it's a quarter-finals, but a huge game.
Disappointment for Senegal that they weren't able to equal their best ever World Cup performance when they reached the quarter-finals at their very first World Cup in Japan and Korea. And the game really now is just being played out, down to Rob Green again behind the goal.
Yeah, just one looking around the stadium, and we're talking about the Mexican way, but actually now the crowd is starting to go. They realise, and for everyone who hasn't been out here, it's a good 45 minutes to an hour drive if you're driving, John, and 20 minutes for everyone else, but some distance out away from the town. And it's just that realisation, it's late in the evening, we've got to get home, and I think they know that this is done.
I noticed that, by the way, I didn't miss it. As Senegal play the ball through the middle, England will want another clean sheet if they can. Ball from Jacobs into the England penalty area, but it's headed up and over the top, 7 or 8 yards out, centre of the goal, but didn't threaten Jordan Pickford's and he was able to watch it go over the top. And Senegal now making what will be their 5th change, their final change, and it's the left back Jacobs who is coming off, and he's being replaced by Fodo Ballo-Touré of AC Milan, who will go over there to the far side, so it's a straight swap.
Yeah, there was a little chance there though for Sarr, wasn't it? Just manoeuvred himself between Dyer and Maguire. No real contact on him, he gets up, it's not particularly good header, didn't look that confident like he was going to win the ball and punch that header underneath the crossbar. But I think England and Jordan Pickford especially are really pushing hard for a clean sheet. It'd be another really good element of the performance to keep a clean sheet, and you get to this stage of the game as a centre-back and a goalkeeper, and that is really what you're scrapping for. But for pride more than anything, John, that feeling of a clean sheet is what you base your game on.
So England 3-0 up. Pickford, left-footed, long downfield, Grealish in with the challenge, but Senegal are able to play it away from the back. So I wonder who will be put forward for interview this evening. Clearly we'll talk to Gareth Southgate in the hour after this match, but I mean, you could pick almost any of these England players out to to talk about this performance this evening. It has been a memorable one for them. It's not every day you win a knockout match of the World Cup by 3-0.
No, and I think that tells you about the capabilities as well, doesn't it, of this squad? Because the first half, it wasn't the best performance you've seen England in. You know, there were a lot of elements of it that they would have liked to have had better.
As Grealish plays it forward to Kane, who tried to flick the ball with his heel over the top of his head because it was slightly behind him. But Senegal were able to put in the challenge, and then that's actually a foul by Mount, centre field, so it's a free kick.
Still no yellow cards. I mean, that was quite a blatant hack down from Mason Mount. Nowhere near the ball, I'll just trip him up. And the referee just kind of runs off going, OK, it's a foul. And doesn't appear to want to book anyone.
Here's Sabali down the right. Only Koulibaly has received a yellow card this evening. Sabali onto his right foot. Across comes the cross, but onto the head of Maguire, who heads it out of play on the right-hand side. And with England not yet collecting any yellow cards tonight, as it's brought in from the right-hand side by Pat Gay, who shoots, and I think he was caught just as he'd hit the ball. The challenge came in late, and that's another free kick for Senegal.
Yeah, similar area. I think it's Luke Shaw. It might even be Harry Maguire or Harry Maguire possibly, just comes out and just contacts him, and it's really similar. It's actually gone out for a corner, and they've taken it quickly.
Given us a corner over on the left-hand side. Here comes the cross. Pickford comes straight and catches it comfortably on the edge of his 6-yard box, and then holds the pose and takes 3 or 4 steps out beyond the penalty spot, and then just calms everyone down and overarms it out. And there are 3 minutes to play, 3 minutes before England's place in the quarter-finals at this World Cup is confirmed. So that is the next step for England. Finished top of the group and now into the quarter-finals. Just like at the World Cup 4 years ago, just like at the Euros last year.
Yeah, you can really start to see the stadium empty out now. So the fans are fully aware of the situation. There's quite a few England fans still here, but there's big pockets of seats available, and quite rightly, the game's been done for some time, hasn't it? As soon as that third goal went in, England in full control.
As Declan Rice just knocks the ball forward into the Senegal half. Rashford chases it, but Mendy is able to get his right foot to it long before Rashford got there, and England have got it down inside their own half again. Calvin Phillips, who came on as a substitute against Wales, so a little more game time for him. Phillips passing it forward, and actually that's a poor pass straight out of play on the halfway line. Yeah, with the yellow cards, they are wiped after the quarter-finals. So, you know, with England not picking up any yellow cards in this match either, you know, that wipes out the possibility of an England player, unless there's a red card in the quarter-finals, of being suspended for a potential semi. Although we might be looking too far ahead of ourselves there, Matt.
Yeah, let's calm down, John. Let's just enjoy this moment. Think about the next game. But, you know, England haven't played in a way that isn't high press or high intensity. They've been on the front foot in quite a lot of occasions, especially in that midfield area. There's balls popping about all over the place, and it just shows you how measured they've been in terms of their decision making. It's not easy to go this many games in a tournament in modern day football and not pick up a yellow card.
England 3-0 up, but Senegal on the attack again, and once again it's down the right-hand side and it's pulled across, almost bounces to Sarr on the edge of the box. I think he's going to let it run for the shot from the edge of the penalty area, and he might easily have taken it on himself, because the shot, when it came in right-footed from the arriving Pap Sarr, was wild and high, and it's behind, and it is a goal kick for England.
That was a nice 1-2 with Sabali, the right back, that did a 1-2 round Jack Grealish and put a good cross into the box. He's had a lot of energy, Sabali, in right back. He's had a decent game. It's not been easy for him, but they've got good fullbacks that like to get forward.
We're in the 90th minute now as Jordan Pickford takes this goal kick, but it comes back at the England defence. Eric Dyer with a touch, then Walker, I think, will pass it back via Dyer to Pickford in the goal. So back down to pitch side and Rob Green again.
Yeah, just a funny moment there where you said about Jordan Pickford holding the pose as he caught the cross. And that's something that Martin Margetson, the goalkeeper coach for England, preaches day after day. When you catch it, keep the ball up in the air. And he did that and I just had a little glance over and I saw the goalkeeper coach fist pumping, clapping. They're 3-0 up with 2 minutes to go. It still means everything to a goalkeeper.
Brilliant insight, Rob. Thanks for that. Phillips playing the ball to Grealish on the left-hand side. Grealish now finding Shaw on the left in the box. Shaw chips it right across to the back post. Rashford stretching. Defender was there with him, actually, Ballo-Touré, so he was only able to help it into the outside netting and behind goal kick.
Yeah, probably wasn't the easiest of dinks to score from. Luke Shaw really chips that ball to the far post, but Marcus Rashford's a little bit too far outside of the goal. I mean, he really is straining for that, John, isn't he? You can tell he wants that goal just to keep in touch with Mbappe. It's a brilliant situation for him if he does get a goal to be one behind him at this stage of the tournament.
So Senegal begin to play it out from the back. 4 minutes of added time. We're into that now. So England will want that clean sheet. That would be 3 in a row at this tournament. By the way, I know that people will again, I'm sure they will, talk about the level of the opposition England have played. So long pass is played forward for Senegal, but Shaw's able to head it away. Rice is after it. Now that was a foul. That was a clear foul on Bamba Dieng, and that might be a yellow card for Rice. The referee's just walking across, but no, they take a quick free kick and it's not a yellow card.
I think he's hurt himself a little bit there though, Declan Rice. He just kicked the bottom of the boot and it looks like he's just pulled up as he kicked the studs, and it can be a little bit sore, that one. It was Jack Grealish who just tried to offload the ball but got it a little bit wrong and put Declan Rice in a bit of a difficult situation where he had to go for the ball. It was Bamba Dieng, wasn't it? Yep. Whose boot he kicked.
So he's now, Declan Rice, part of the England wall of 4, plus Rashford just off the right side of it. And I think it's going to be Bamba Dieng himself who's going to take this. Senegal heading for defeat, heading for a World Cup exit. But an opportunity here from the free kick, from a right-sided position, 25 yards out. And it is Bamba Dieng who hits it straight into the wall, and it bounces away out of play for a throw-in to Senegal down to our right, just in front of their brilliant supporters. We'll not forget them, still dancing and swaying from right to left, to right to left, as Senegal win a corner late on in the match, in added time. So England will have to defend this set piece. It's going to be taken by Pape Sarr, the number 17, the young Tottenham man, the 20-year-old. He's ready, just moving from foot to foot, almost to the rhythm of the Senegalese drummers. In it comes to the near post from him, but cleared away. Grealish stretches for it, but Senegal have it back again. But Rashford very nearly nipped that away from Nampalys Mendy. Senegal out to the left-hand side. Lots and lots of empty red seats now around the ground. People knowing that the match is over, England are going through, and Senegal just knocking it around inside their own half. So England at this World Cup now. So long passes forward, but Walker's able to head it back actually, and under pressure has headed it behind, and it is a Senegal corner.
Yeah, he's fuming with that. Kyle Walker, disappointed, didn't get the contact on the header, just needed to punch that back into the hands of Jordan Pickford instead. It's a bit of a tentative header, wasn't too sure, and he puts it out for a corner, and England have to defend this now, and they'll be desperate to keep hold of this clean sheet.
So a corner from the left, Sarr to take this, right-footed into the edge of the 6-yard box. Maguire heads it into possibly one of his own men, and it deflects back out to the left-hand side. Sarr then into the corner of the box. Ballo-Touré's cross, that's blocked, and it's out of play again for another throw on the far side. And that's it. There is no more time, and the referee blows the whistle, and England are through to the quarter-finals of the World Cup here in Qatar in 2022 with a very comfortable victory in the end by 3-0 over Senegal, and at times they've been very, very impressive. Matt Upson.
Yeah, super impressive, super confident in this second half, especially. A little bit troubled in the first half, was a little bit concerned, I have to say, until the first goal went in. But you just felt that when it was going to click for England, and when they were going to go through the gears, and the quality and the passing and the movement was all going to come together, they were going to pull this Senegalese team apart, this stubborn Senegalese team who physically and tactically actually set up pretty well for the game. But the moment that first goal went in, and then the second, England went into cruise control and were very, very comfortable. Massive parts of that second half was super comfortable, not particularly competitive, and I just think Senegal found it really hard to try and drive themselves back into this game. But a lot of positives for England and a really solid win.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Much more to come. All the reaction at this World Cup. England have got past in the group. The team's ranked 20th, 19th and 16th in the world. They've now knocked out the world-ranked number 18 team with these goals from Henderson, Kane and Saka. But next in the quarter-final, it's the world champions France. But they can enjoy the moment here at Al Bayt after England 3, Senegal 0, and Mark Chapman's here with us.
John, for the moment, thank you. So Matt Upson, Micah Richards and Rob Green down pitch side with us. We'll talk to Ellen White very shortly as well. We'll bring you reaction and we'll get a thought from France as well ahead of that quarter-final, which will be next Saturday evening. But Rob Green, the players are moving in your direction.
Yeah, they're just wandering down in front of this huge bank of England fans, of what you would say would probably be the England fans that have travelled from England and made themselves at home here. And it really has been a performance that brought joy to them in the second half, in particular that period of half an hour where they just electric, and every single one of them going over, taking the applause, and Southgate just a quick clap and moving on to being interviewed. He knows he's got work to do and must be so pleased with that performance, because it did really purr at times, didn't it?
It did, and in fact they're not going overboard, are they, Micah? There, it's just very much a job done, it feels like.
No, I'll probably say it's a little bit more than that. Having seen all the teams in the World Cup now, chappers, the first half wasn't great, and we've seen England play like that, at times in the tournament. But I actually believe England have got a chance of winning the World Cup now, because when they was going through a difficult moment, they got past that, and then they had the quality to move. Yes, France are going to be a better opposition than Senegal. We all know that. But at times, I was watching France's game today, and they're not great defensively. And our forward-thinking players have been outstanding throughout the tournament. And if they can replicate somehow that performance against France, we've got a real chance of beating them.
Has Micah gone early?
Oh, steady, Micah.
I'm not. I've been negative Nigel on England because I said we've not really played anyone just yet. And Senegal, going into this game, I thought, how are we going to fare? When we played against USA, they was physical, they was quick, they was dynamic, and going up against a strong and fast Senegalese team. Okay, admittedly they had a few injuries, but I'm looking at the whole tournament in terms of squads. I think England have a real chance. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but I think they have a chance.
Do you feel that we need to maybe get a goal, or that we don't start matches with that belief level that we finish it with? That for me is the key, because you're going to come up against France, and if you aren't at it from that moment, or if you're not playing with that swagger and arrogance that we're better than them right from the off, you can find yourself in trouble, and then it never comes in the game. It's almost like we build into that feeling, and you just want that group of players to take performances like this today and take it, how we finished, into the start of the next game. Then you've got a game, and then I'll sit here and go, and I'll join you, Micah, and say England are going to win the World Cup.
No. I don't think I said they've got a chance.
Yeah.
I don't want to be quoted saying they've won it, or they've got a real good chance.
Yeah.
Rob?
Yeah, I think you're looking at. I think it wasn't convincing at the start. I do think that Senegal did have a game plan and it implemented it well at the start. But I think Gareth Southgate will be pleased in the fact that they rode through that difficult period, and he came out and he sort of raised a few eyebrows about his response into the USA game, which was pretty tepid, and he said, no, I was pleased with it because we're not going to be flying all the time. They weren't flying at the start of this game, but found a way. And so, I think, you're looking at that and saying it's a really, really good performance because they rode through the difficulties in there. Mikey, I'm just off the saying they've got a chance. Is it now about approximately a 1 in 8 chance?
I think it's a little bit stronger. I just hoped that France didn't come next, because the way Kylian Mbappe played today, wow. But we look at the players we've got. I think with England, we always think about the other team. Mbappe is special, but look how many great attacking options we have with a start or from the bench.
I just want to jump in because the Senegal fans are still moving and swaying down there, and they're only now starting to think about leaving, and the Senegal players were applauded to a man by those Senegal fans after going out of this World Cup, and they have been one of the highlights of those Senegal fans. Their country goes home, but they have contributed massively to this World Cup. Micah's point, Rob, is fair there, isn't it? I mean,
what, that they've got a 1 in 8 chance?
No, that was your point, I think. France have Kylian Mbappe, but of those goals that England scored tonight, it's difficult to think. I mean, the Dutch scored a fantastic team goal against the USA yesterday afternoon. But it's difficult to think of many better team goals at this World Cup than the ones that England have scored this evening.
When they got it right, it was electric. And there was times when there was a chance which Matt described brilliantly where Harry Kane just missed it. But the instinctive nature of the movement of the place, the speed, and when you're pitch side, you realise, and when you're in it, you know it's fast. I've been out of the game for a couple of years now, and you forget how quick it is when they get it right. And it was just so fast. They're so quick in the mind, so quick in the body, and everything, when it gets in sync, that you can't do anything to stop it. No one can. There's no team, there's no players in the world that can stop it because it's just so fast.
I mean this in a really respectful way, Rob, but didn't every game look quick from your perspective as a goalkeeper?
And they got quicker, that's why I retired. Oh, right. No, but you just come up against teams that you come up against, and you think if they click, if they get the bits where and they get it right, then you really are going to struggle at times because you're just, we played against the invincible side of Arsenal, and you stood there going, there's nothing we can do at times because they're just more skillful, quicker, more powerful in those first few yards. And you watch this England team against the side, and that's when the jeopardy went out the game because Senegal knew there is nothing we can do. They did it with Jude Bellingham. There's nothing we can do to stop them, and that's I think when you realise how fast and how you just appreciate what is it they say, power is nothing without control, where you can implement the skill with it at such pace.
I think also, Greeny, we can talk about the movement of the players, but a lot of that speed comes from the decisiveness, doesn't it? And one touch, like the ball from Henderson on that chance for Harry Kane, he didn't even look, he didn't have a touch, he just went bang. You just do it. It's so instinctive. Marcus Rashford, he's already gone, he's already running. It's a one-touch cross. You can't defend that. It's like you're not going to be able to get back in position quick enough to deal with that if the run's right. And I think there was probably more than that, 4 or 5 moves in this game that would have pulled anyone apart. And I think that's the real positive from this performance this evening.
Rob, if there was one thing that would concern you before we let you go, what would it be?
I think, as you said, that opening 15-20 minutes and the way that basically Senegal gave a blueprint to France there and said, if you can implement this game plan to press and to get it right, and what we would say is the one thing we've got in our favour on that is France will start with Oli Giroud up front, who will not be able to do it in the same dynamic way. But if they get it right, they're going to be more clinical than Senegal, and that opening 15-20 minutes we may have to change.
Rob, we shall let you go. Thank you very much. Rob Green with us here on 5 Live. We'll bring you some reaction when we get it as well from down in the tunnel. Harry Kane has told television, we've shown great maturity. Mentality was top from the beginning. We took our chances when they came. We've got a great mixture of youth and experience now to win 3-0. It really is a great night. Talking about all the wide players, Micah, and talking about the midfield players as well, actually means, bizarrely, Harry Kane sort of goes under the radar in everything that we've talked about. But his performance tonight felt as close to a Tottenham performance from him than I've seen in a long time in English. Bearing in mind the England-USA game where he looked like he was labouring here in this very same stadium.
No, Harry Kane, it was class today. I think we don't mind Harry Kane coming deep when we've got forward runners. I think Saka was excellent today, and I think Foden with his running in behind as well. Although he was playing on the left, he was in them central areas as well. And we don't mind him coming deep. It's totally fine to do that, but you have to make impact when you do that. Against USA, they had too much legs. Today, he found the rhythm and exactly what England needed. It's going to be interesting how he plays against France, because I was watching them today as well, and defensively, with Iran at the back, they've got real pace. They've got pace at the fullback areas as well. But we need him to stay further up the pitch for them, the creative players in midfield. And now he knows that Bellingham's going to run in behind. Now he knows that Henderson's running behind. Now he knows that Foden's going to pop into them pockets. He doesn't need to come as deep. Against Senegal, okay, you can do that. But against France, we're going to need him a little bit higher. But his overall performance today was excellent.
Yeah, I think today what made it shine a little bit more is that our two midfield players in Henderson and Bellingham just got forward brilliantly. And I mean, look at the Henderson goal. Is the Bellingham running beyond, Kane dropping deep, Foden flick round the corner, Kane then slides the ball into the run of Bellingham, he crosses it, Henderson scores. You can cope with your centre forward dropping into that midfield area if the other two midfield players have gone bang in behind. And that's what England did time and time again. It was so effective. And I thought that allows Harry Kane to do that. If we haven't got those runs, perhaps it'll get a little bit congested and a little bit too much in front of the back four.
Ellen White has rejoined us as well. It felt, Ellen, like we've talked about Harry Kane dropping deep for about 2 or 3 years within this England team. He felt as effective doing that today as he has done.
Yeah, definitely. And we spoke before, didn't we? And what Mike's just said about what he does for Tottenham is dropping deep, but then having those runners. But then at times, when he scored his goal, he was a lot higher. Meant Bellingham could run and travel with the ball. Foden was out wide, great ball into him. He was in a perfect position, lovely touch, and scored. So he was picking up really great positions, but then it's all about the connection of the other players, isn't it? Bellingham, Foden, Saka, even Henderson with his goal as well. Everyone else working off each other and being in those positions if he is coming a little bit deeper.
And for all of that, as we've been discussing here, it's almost as if they need to get the first goal to then be brave. And we'll elaborate more on that very shortly after we hear from Phil Foden live with Gary Flintoff.
Thank you, Mark. Phil, many congratulations. You're into the quarterfinals of the World Cup. The performance tonight, you were an integral part of that. How much did you enjoy that game?
Yeah, it feels great. It was on a massive up at the moment. We're obviously going to celebrate tonight, and then tomorrow it's back to work now because we know the next opponent is very frightening on the day, so we're going to have to be on our best to beat them.
It was very apparent in that first half that you felt that when it clicked, a goal would come, but were you getting a little bit frustrated at one point?
Definitely, they made it a frustrating game at times. They went man to man, but not only just that, they was very physical and quick. So it took a bit of time to get into the game for all of us and find out where the spaces are. As time passed, we tired them around by knocking it around the back, and then we started to open up spaces and found Harry more, which started to hurt him.
There's been so much talk about the young guns, if you will, yourself, Jude Bellingham. There's an oldest fella there, just slightly older, in Jordan Henderson. Tell me about the part that he played, not only with the goal this evening, but overall tonight for England.
He's massive, you know. When someone's not doing something right on the pitch, he's quick to tell you off, and I don't mind. Like, you need someone like that on the pitches who's a leader and a captain, and he's definitely got that in his locker. So, it's a pleasure to play on the field with him, because he ups your game and everyone else around you. So he's a really important player for us.
And you've alluded to it already. France await in the quarter-finals. Kylian Mbappe, everything that goes with that. How do you feel about the challenge that lies ahead?
Yeah, we all want to play in the biggest games, and there's no better game than playing France. So, if we're on form and on our best game, we can create chances and score. So we're looking forward to it, and one that's going to be a big challenge.
Well done tonight. Enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you.
Phil Foden live with Gary Flintoff on 5 Live Sport. Ellen, let's just go back to the point of why sometimes it can feel like they need the first goal to then be brave.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I feel like it kind of settles them down when they do score that first goal, and well, we could have been 2-0 down before we obviously scored the Henderson goal. So yeah, I definitely feel like that first goal settles us down. What Foden just said, actually, then they're able to find where the spaces are, where the pockets of space, what's working for them, and they needed just a little bit of time to get into the game. And I think those 2 chances, that Pickford save, kind of woke them up a little bit. And then they seem to kind of get their groove in that first half, towards the end of the first half.
Do you think, Matt, that's just is that a mental thing?
Yes, it's a belief thing. It's sometimes a mixture of belief, arrogance, and actually starting the game in that manner. There's a fine balance, chappers, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Between having the humility and the work ethic that England have, and I think we showed that tonight. But we touched on it before about that edge. How do you get that edge to be a world record, to be the best in the world? And I think that you can't afford to wait until you realise that you're playing well in the game, and then all of a sudden it happens naturally. You have to try and start the game in that fashion. And I think that these performances of England should, for me, be topping that up, so that we're getting closer and closer to starting matches in a way of like, we're the better team here. Even if we're playing France, I mean, you look at the French team, I think we're more than capable.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm just going to go back down to the tunnel. Bukayo Saka is with Gary Flintoff.
He is indeed. I just mentioned to him, Mark, that it was a great finish for his goal tonight. But before we get on to that, I mean, what does it mean to make it through to the quarterfinals of the world's biggest football competition?
Yeah, of course, like you just said, doesn't get much bigger than this tournament. So, we know how much it meant to us, and we went out there and delivered, so we're happy with that performance.
In terms of the performance, it always sort of felt as if the moment you click, you get through them. But was there a little bit of frustration in that first half, but it didn't quite happen as early as you thought it might?
Yeah, but of course, all respect to Senegal, they're an amazing team, they're the champions of Africa, so we knew it wasn't going to be easy, but we know the quality we have, and once it started to click, like you said, we felt so good, we created so many chances, and we managed to finish them off.
You're such a great group, if you will. We know the captain hasn't scored until tonight, so he's been very much involved in the play, but what does it mean to you that Harry Kane has registered his first goal at the World Cup?
Harry Kane is like inevitable, he was always going to score goals. I was never worried about that. He's been exceptional for us. You can see he's like the glue of the team, how much he's linking up all the attacks, and I think he's got like a few assists already, so it's not as if he's not doing anything. He's been so good for us, and yeah, I knew he was going to get his goal. He showed unbelievable composure, because it took him so long to strike the ball, but yeah, he managed to do what Harry Kane does and put the ball in the net.
Well, talking of, Harry Kane does what Harry Kane does, I mean, your finish, talk me through it. I mean, the ball played into you. Was it always to go a bit cheeky, a bit cute over the keeper?
Nah, for me, I saw obviously Mendy coming towards me in the corner of my eye, and I knew, of course, if I just lifted it a bit, it would be able to go in. So luckily, I managed to get a good technique, and obviously thanks to Phil for the great pass.
Well done tonight, and the very best of luck against the French who follow next.
Thank you very much.
Well played tonight. Thank you.
You can tell the spirit and the camaraderie, can't you, Micah? Because he's kind of taking the mick a bit out of Harry Kane for how long it took him to hit the ball.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? And I think that is what you like to see. I don't think these players understand how good they are and can be. Going back to Matt's point before, is the sort of starting the game is a little bit laboured, a little bit unsure, and I know you have to work out of the game, but they're a really good team. They should take confidence that they got to the Euros final and they've been to a World Cup semi-final before, and I just love the team spirit. I love those interviews. But it's a big one next. When we had when we was last doing the radio together, I said we've not played anyone. This was a different test tonight. There was physical. But now, next game, we have real quality. And they can't start how they did tonight against France because they will get punished. If they start like they did in times, in the second half, so towards the end of the first half today, they'll be fine.
Just moving on from negative Nigel again.
We were saying we were going to win it a moment ago.
Well, no, now I'm really...
you asked the question.
To win the World Cup.
You asked the question a couple of questions ago about what are the negatives, or what you asked Rob.
What would be a concern? Yeah, what would be a concern?
Yes, a concern would be starting slow, defensive mishaps at times. We got away with a couple early mistakes. And dealing with them one-on-one situations. Every time England concede an attack, they don't know to me exactly, or feel to me exactly know what they're actually doing or supposed to be. Maybe I'm being harsh, but that's just me seeing the defensive side of things.
Away from the defensive side of things, I do, and I'm saying away from the back four, who were solid. I mean, they've not conceded a goal again. Look, they had some wobbly moments, Matt. Okay, yeah. But you sit in the dressing room and go, we haven't conceded, don't you? Right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'll come back to them in a second. But away from that back four, any of the other six further forward, we could pick out for praise tonight. Yeah. And do 5 or 10 minutes on each of them.
Yeah, comfortably. I mean, it was a powerhouse midfield display by all three. And there's a standout man in terms of doing a little bit of everything in Jude Bellingham. Goal threat, creator, physicality, the energy, the body language, the freedom. That what we're talking about, we want every England player to start the game like. I think he started the game in that fashion today. And sometimes it is a young player who's fearless and just thinking of the moment and enjoying the moment. He hasn't been through loads of experiences and understands what that is. So that for me was a huge catalyst for England, and I think that he led by example in that sense. And Declan Rice, Jordan Henderson kind of backing him up in that way. I thought it was a really, really solid midfield performance.
I mean, I thought, Ellen, as well, there was a freedom about Henderson at times. So if you're talking about a freedom from Henderson and a freedom from Bellingham, that's why I would include Declan Rice for the praise, really, because his performance allows the freedom of others.
Yeah, definitely. And I think he said in an interview before as well about Bellingham that he's told him to go and be free and do what he does because he'll be at the back, tackling, intercepting, being in great positions. And you could see towards the end of the game, he was great at getting little free kicks and just slowing the game down as well for England. So, yeah, you can't deny his role as well tonight. And, yeah, definitely seeing Henderson more freer and getting forward and obviously his goal scored. It's really nice to see. I don't know whether that might change come the France game, obviously. But yeah, no, I felt like the midfield and the front three looked really exciting tonight.
Well, the fact that you've mentioned it, would you change anything for France?
I don't think you can you?
No, well, I would agree with you, but... Ellen?
Yes, I'm here, sorry.
Oh, right, sorry.
I thought you were carrying on.
No, I was just leaving. But hang on, I would agree with you, but they may look at the opposition and decide to do something different.
Yeah, no, I do agree. But then I think, these players have played very well tonight. They seem to have a good connection. But it's what the guy said as well before, not to be negative as well. Those two chances that Senegal had, I believe that France probably would have scored those chances. So they've got to come out the blocks early and have that belief and mentality that they can go out there, create chances and beat France. So they need to come out fast. But yeah, I just don't think you can change that team. They've got confidence, momentum. Harry scored, which has given him a lot of confidence. He's like Saka said, he's a great kind of glue to the team. So everything seems to be working. It is maybe just that back four that you're a bit like, oh, I don't know, with the front three that France have.
It goes back to the argument and the debate about how much you go to the opposition, no, you worry about us, or how much you go, oh, we might be a bit worried about you.
And I think also the way the game plays out, and today was very much a game where England had a lot of the ball and we wanted to make the pitch big. And as a centre-back, you're probably at your most vulnerable in that situation than if you're playing against, say, a USA, where the game's frantic, you're nice and compact, you're dealing with loads of balls, and you might have to be dominant, you might have to be physical, you might have to clear balls, head balls, tackle. And I thought that Harry Maguire did that brilliantly in that game, and he's been very solid in this tournament. But this was a different type of situation, and there's just a couple of times, if there's too much space around as a centre-back, it can be a dangerous thing. And you get isolated in those 1v1 situations with a Dembele, with a Mbappe. I think you're going to start to see the devastation they can cause. So it's whether or not we can just contain that and just support our players in those positions to keep solid.
Rob's point earlier, wasn't it, Micah, was that Olivier Giroud wouldn't necessarily be closing down the centre-backs with the same enthusiasm and speed that maybe Senegal were, but Matt's point is valid. That actually it could be Dembele coming in off the wing to use his pace to get to Maguire quickly.
France don't need to press because they have the ball all the time. It's a completely different game. Watch the game today. There was dominating. I don't think
they'll have the ball all the time against us, though, Micah. Not a massive.
Well, I think they'll have a 55%, 60% of the ball. I think. Watching them today, their confidence with Griezmann in the little pockets, Mbappe on that left-hand side, Dembele, and then Giroud. The difference they've got with Giroud holds up the ball and brings everyone into play. Every time they tried to get out today, Paul just couldn't do it.
Do you not think today with England, it's more when we have the ball at the back?
Yeah.
And if that pass isn't quite right, or if it's not quite confident, or the wrong choice, and it turns over quickly the wrong side of our midfield, that's the moment. And that's what I'm talking about, in us having the ball, being split and expansive, because we want to keep possession and make the pitch big. But if the pass is not the right one, or it just gets cut out, I think that's when we can look a bit vulnerable.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think another thing, a concern for me as well, a lot of people talking about this, the matchup between Walker and Mbappe. But if you actually see where Mbappe scored his goals from today, we're more central to the pitch. Like he's not like from the wing, and he had a few opportunities where he went down the byline, crossed it, and no one was there. So he thought, I'm doing this myself. He come in from the inside left position and whipped two absolute beauties. And if Mbappe gets into a position, you got Theo Fernandez who's going to overlap. Walker might be going with Theo Fernandez. It's going to be Stones who are having to deal at times with Mbappe. And that's where I'm worrying.
Unless you go to a back three, and
we're not doing no back three. We're not. I'm sick to death of talking about a back three. We've played excellent football. We're back four. I know you're giving me another option, Chappers, but if we was to go to a back three and lose, everyone would be going
mad.
Yeah. I was going to say a different word, but
yeah, but the back three solves that problem you've just said of where Mbappe drifts. It might cause issues elsewhere.
Yeah.
But you'd have a wing back that would try and help the overload from Theo Hernandez, but you'd have your right of a three to cover a channel where Mbappe wants to operate. And before I get hammered here, I'm not advocating that, right? I'm just saying
it's probably the best solution.
I'm just saying there's a system there. If Micah is worried about that particular point,
I think if you're playing against top wide players with pace, sometimes a back three is the worst formation you can have, because the space is all down the channels. Unless you've got wide centre backs that can really run and are happy coping with that, I think it can just land you in more bother, to be honest. and there's more space in that area. And the nice thing about having a fullback in there, you make it a bit of a personal duel. Like we've been talking about this Walker and Mbappe matchup and all of this, and you kind of think, well, okay, all right, I'll have a bit of that. I'll get my head on it. As a right back, Micah, sometimes defensively, the best thing you can know is he's who I'm playing against today. It's my job. I'll own it, take responsibility, and I've got to play well. And you know where you stand.
Matty Cash played very well against Mbappe today, and he still scored 2 goals.
He's had a great tournament, Cash has.
He's had a brilliant tournament, but again, it's that movement. It's not just, I think a lot of people think it's just Mbappe. It's Griezmann's movement which allows the space for Mbappe to do what he needs to do.
We're going to head back down to the tunnel area now and get the thoughts of Gareth Southgate talking to John Murray.
Yes, here is Gareth Southgate, quarter-finalists again. Gareth, that must be a very satisfying evening you've had there on the pitch.
Very much so. I think the ruthlessness of the performance was excellent. We struggled a little bit to break through Senegal's pressure at the start of the game, but sometimes you've got to move teams and tire them to be able to reap the benefits in the second half. What we did do well was our pressure when they had the ball was excellent, and turning the ball over were our best opportunities in that first half, and I thought Jude and Jordan Henderson were excellent in that period in particular.
In the first half, it was again, as you've said during this tournament, hasn't it? It was about linking the two aspects of play together. But you got there.
Yes, we did. And look, every match you play is a different sort of challenge and different tactical problem to resolve. And we've stepped up and we're answering those questions. And I thought the quality of the moves for our goals were absolutely outstanding, and the finishes were absolutely ruthless.
Are the possibilities exciting you?
Well, they are. I mean, we've got a brilliant tie, haven't we? It's the 2 quarter-finals are fabulous football nations, great history. Couldn't be more exciting. Our history not quite as good as all the others, by the way, but we're really pleased. I've just been told it's the first time we've won knockout games in 3 consecutive tournaments, so that's another bit of history that this team have managed to achieve, and we've got to keep trying to do that.
But you've broken down lots of barriers, haven't you, and broken lots of records, one or two not so good ones.
Yeah.
But to beat the world champions at this stage, a team like France, that was something I remember you saying a while back that you wanted your team to be doing on a regular basis, beating teams of that level, and you've got to do that to get further.
Yeah, exactly. This is the acid test for us. We know it's a step up from everything we've had so far. But the team have garnered so much experience in the last few years. They're playing with confidence. We look threatening. We're scoring goals. Another clean sheet, which was really pleasing to see. So we're in a good place, but we know the level of the opposition as well.
Gareth, I've got to ask you one more thing about Raheem Sterling. The news does appear to have come out now about what's happened at home, that there's been some sort of break-in at his home. I mean, it sounds really, really frightening and a horrible experience for him to have to go through when he's here. So how is he, and what's going to happen next?
Yeah, I've spent some time with him today. He's going to fly home, and obviously family at these moments is the most important thing. So we want to give him that space, and we'll see over the next few days how that all develops.
Okay. Thanks, Gareth.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
And,
see you.
Gareth Southgate talking to John Murray. Let me just give you the latest news on Raheem Sterling. So the reports are that he missed tonight, as Gareth said, because there was a break-in at his house. Actually, armed intruders broke into his house in the UK, and his family were there at the time, and obviously he is out here. So Raheem Sterling is going to return home, understandably, to be with his children, and he could return to Qatar, is the report, if the circumstances allow. But at the moment, Raheem Sterling is heading home because armed intruders broke into his home. You despair, don't you, Matt, at times?
I don't know what to say. It's just shocking news, to be honest. It's disgraceful news, and I really feel for him and his family and sympathise, and absolutely family first, and get home and check and everyone's okay, and terrible, really awful news.
Awful. Thoughts with him as well, actually, because that must be a horrific plane journey to be back on, just worrying about your family and your kids and what they have gone through. So our thoughts with him, our thoughts with his kids and his family as well. We might get a little bit more reaction here in Qatar. 606 is on the way. Ellen White is still with us as well. To move it back to the football, Ellen, I think one of the things you really take out of that Gareth Southgate interview is just how impressed he himself was with the quality of the moves and the quality of the finishing tonight from his England players.
Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to say as well, yeah, lots of love to Raheem and his family as well, because that's horrible. But yeah, no, I think we were just very, very clinical. I think, we had 3 kind of clear-cut chances and we scored them, which is what you need in these knockout stages against, we're going now to face the holders of the World Cup. So, to have those strikers, attackers, midfielders that are all firing, scoring, and the goals are going in, is really positive for us moving forward. So it was really good kind of forward play from England tonight.
Ellen, thank you very much for being with us this evening. We will talk soon. Ellen White with us on 5 Live Sport. We'll look ahead a little bit more to the French game in just a second, and then it will be Chris and Robbie with 606.